everybody, Snowultations! That was a bit of a break in format. I know. But trust me that it was not intentional. Sometimes I just forget. Say my own catchphrase. How it's supposed to be said. But yeah, welcome everybody. We are going to be continuing 999 month, 999 September. We are getting pretty close to the end, but I don't think we're going to be finishing this. I don't know if we're going to be finishing the game this stream. Because sometimes I get stuck in puzzles and the like, and I also like the division of it being like a 9-part series, or 9 hours, 9 perks, and 9 doors, you know. So yeah, not much to say. This time, remember to turn off notification. Yep, I am doing that. I just closed it. I know it drives you guys insane, and justifiably so, but yeah. I know I said I'm not gonna be streaming Hollow Knight, but I do feel that, like, I still think, like, you guys might want to hear about, like, some of my experience with Hollow Knight so far. Because basically, I reached the Mantis Lords. I played this game for like 3 days, and I did Green Path, and all of yesterday, like my play sessions of Hollow Knight, which I took breaks in between because the game is really, can be really stress-inducing. It was just like going all the way from Leg Eater, all the way down to Mantis Village, and then from there to the, what's her face? To the Mantis Lords. And you know, I told my friends, like, I spent hours just doing the traversal down, only to realize that's standard Hollow Knight. That's the standard Hollow Knight experience. And this is just the early game, so I am not looking forward, slightly looking forward to see how traversal is gonna be. You know, but like, I will say that one of the things that are really cool is that, like, I really do feel like I'm improving in the game. Like, there were sections I got stuck in, and like traversal, and I just know, I think that, like, my brain, and I hope it's not just a copium and it's actually me internalizing the way the game teaches me its mechanics. And yeah, so thanks to YouTube, like, seeing how to defeat certain enemies, the game is just being, I don't want to call it easier, but I can tell it manageable. And today, I beat the first phase of the Mantis Lords after like an hour of going down, occasionally falling, failing, and I don't know, Chad, I think, like, and I was like, oh, I did it, that's my goal for today. My goal is to do this one part. And then I did the one part, and then I'm going to do phase 2, and now I keep thinking about, like, oh shit, I want to continue doing the Mantis Lords, but unfortunately, my wrist hurts a little. I think it's probably because when I was in the gym today, I put too much pressure on it, you know? That's the thing that happens. Yeah. But like, I've been thinking about this boss. It's really cool, and I have been aware of this boss because, like, I saw Oro, Prony, and RT Games, like, beat this boss, and it's just, there is something really cool about, like, the Mantis Lords and memorizing the patterns and how to prepare for, like, each attack. And then, like, now you have to deal against 2 of them, which is crazy. But yeah. I think, like, I also had a friend tell me that, like, the way to approach, the correct way to achieve, like, to approach this game is not as a Metroidvania, but as a Souls-like. Did you upgrade your nail? No, not yet. I will say that one of my main issues is keeping my money in the game. I don't think I found, like, the guy who forges it, but I think I'll be fine. Like, I think the Mantis, like, I don't know when you get your first nail upgrade, but I'm still, like, in the Mantis village. But I still feel like it's manageable. The game actively tells you to ignore Mantis Lords until you... What?! Oh my god. No way. Okay, where do I upgrade my nail then? Like, is it... Where is the nail upgrader in the game? Where is it? I'm sorry, no one told me about this. Yeah, they block an endgame era. The intended route is this. They block an endgame era. The intended route in City of Tears and Royal Waterways. Oh my god. Oh my god, I think I'm having a stroke. No one told me! No one told me! Wonderful sentence to join the stream too. Are you okay? Yeah. GamerCore told me, and again, see, this is the exact reason why I don't want to stream the game, because I am blind, and I'm a novice to platformers. I mean, you can go to Deep Nest early, but for a first play, it leads to Deep Nest? Oh my god. Yeah. Apparently Mantis Village leads to Deep Nest. I did not know that. I completely forgot. No, I'm not actually having a stroke. Yeah, apparently, so I spent an hour like learning and mastering Mantis Village, and it was all for naught. Fuck me. I mean, I don't think it was for nothing. I think I learned how to improve the game and I got the grippers, but no one told me that, like, the Mantis Lords don't lead to the City of Tears. I absolutely forgot, and if it did, then again, here's why Once you're supposed to go to the Path of Thorns, I see. Yeah, no, but I got the Mantis Claw, and then basically I need to go to the route that Horden went to. So yeah, like, I spent, like, hours trying to beat the Mantis Lords. And I really did feel like I was going to do it. I beat Phase 1, but no one told me. I now obtained the map to the Fungal Wastes that shows where you need to go. Wow, that's crazy. The map is a bit low res, but yeah, thank you for the heads up. Mantis Lords is one of the funnest fights. Yeah, it's so fun. Like, I was really getting into it, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, I can get a nail upgrade before this? Yeah, no, thank you for the PSA, but again, Sisters of Battle is my fave, yeah. So I do a lot of I'd rather have my mistakes be witnessed. To persevere in the ruin, the old nail alone won't do enough, that's no problem. One who has to, oh, Quarrel, my beloved. I love Quirrell. Quirrell is, I think, my favorite character so far. My friend told me it's good that I'm coping with them, which is nice. I also have a friend. Okay, so Quirrell tells me to upgrade my nail. I have another friend who tells me that like there are areas in the city that I can only arrive if I upgrade the nails. So I'll see. Maybe I'll try like doing another beat and try to beat them again for shits and giggles because I feel like I can do it. But yeah, we'll see. Again, this is one of the, again, like I said before, the reason why I'm not streaming this is because one, sometimes I'm blind and I'm not a platforming expert. And the most experience I had in a Souls-like was in Dark Souls 3, and it's specifically like in the first area because I played this game with friends. Not true, but good and different for trying to gaslight you into an upgrade. I don't know if I'd argue with them, but yeah. Again, it's like, I'm not saying this like to discourage any of you guys, but like, I'd rather have my failures be on my own. Did you get the lifeblood in the Mantis Lord's room? No, I have not. But I do feel like it's good that I went down the area, because I feel like it's like, there's like a bit of sections with like the spikes and the dashes and the grips, and I actually managed to do it, and like, so I feel like it was good practice, and then from there it's Path of Thorns. There was another thing that like I learned to accept that I'm not gonna have a lot of in the beginning of it is money. I'm still a noob. I still have a lot to learn. There's probably like a lot of things I'm gonna miss. It's not just that, but I just feel like I'm still a noob. I'm gonna lose a lot of money because I make a lot of mistakes and I die a lot of deaths, and I don't always get the souls, and the mantises are bitches. Yeah, you get the vibe. So so I just accepted the fact that like I'm gonna be penniless in this, like in the early game, until I find places to farm. You get my drift? Okay. Ah, yeah, there's a temporary HP. No way. Jesus. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and you can also sell relics for money. I don't think I have relics yet. Either not. Yeah, I haven't unlocked GG. I'm gonna illustrate what I did so far. I went to Green Path. Like, I did a few bosses. I did Green Path. I got the dash. I got the cast. Well, I didn't do all of Green Path. There was a specific Thorn, the Electric Moth battle. GG's in Dirtmouth. Is GG Mr. Hoscavagio? No, that's Sly. I'm confusing Sly with GG. I don't think I've gotten them yet, no. So yeah, I still have a lot of, it turns out I still have a lot of things to find in this game, but yeah, thank you so much for the heads up. I feel kind of stupid, but I also feel like it was still a good experience and that I learned how to better the game. Professor GG summons your shade, so it's easier to kill. Ah, nice. That's really cool. I don't think I've unlocked Professor GG yet, but it's nice to see. I will say that, like, in terms of favorite NPCs, I really like Quirrell. But like, Quirrell is meant to be likable. Quirrell is around. They don't attack you. Like, he doesn't attack you. He's there to give you advice. He has a cool. Oh, Grim is awesome. Yeah, Grim is great. I didn't pay for DLC, so I'm not gonna have him yet. But I know of Grim. He's fun. Funny, fun circus fan. Yeah. Yeah, no, but it's good. Thank you so much for the heads up about like fixing like not doing the Mantis Lords. You should have all the DLCs. No, I didn't buy the DLCs in Hollow Knight. Like, they're sold separately on Steam, in case I remember correctly. I'm even gonna check it for you guys. Yeah, Gods and Nightmares is a... Wait, no, it's a downloadable soundtrack. I'm gonna check. Maybe it is included inside? Yeah, no, so Grim is inside the game. I was confused. Okay, so I should have all the DLCs. Nice, because I like the Funny Circus Man. Okay, good. I didn't know. Thank you, Team Cherry, for including the Funny Circus Man as part of your game. It's, if I remember correctly, because I bought the game, like, this week, on Sunday. Vampire. Yeah, funny vampire guy. Even better, I love vampires. So yeah, I went down fungal wastes. I lost a lot of money because I made a lot of stupid mistakes. I think it's like one of the things that I'm learning to do is not to get scared. Like, some video games give me like a fear of heights. It's a little hard to explain. And sometimes like getting a fear of heights from Okay, so the Grim Troop is free content. Nice. Okay, cool. So it is included. It's nice. It's nice that it's included. Thank you so much for the enlightenment, Gamer Core. But yeah, I'm my main goal with Hollow Knight is I'm not expecting to be the best. I am just expecting to like get good at it on my own pace, and I feel like I am learning things. If I die, I die. If I lose money, I lose money. Sometimes you can farm for like the important things, and yeah. So instead of like, so yeah, thank you. So I think it is nice to hear you guys say it. I will eventually return to the Mantis Lords again. I think it's good that I'm doing it because it's a fun boss battle and everything. But I know Deepness is one of the hardest areas in the game. But yeah. So that's enough yappery for now. We are going to be, I'm gonna open this Mume. Also, another thing I want to talk about, speaking of challenges, this is for the Uma Musume players in the chat or in the backlog. If you are doing Deepness early, do you have Lantern? No, I do not. Listen, I don't. I can't do Deepness early. I'm not planning to. I'm going half blind into this game. Let me do my own mistakes. But yeah, thank you for the tips. Again, but like trying to attempt Mantis Lords was fun. Speaking of other things, so I was playing Uma Musume, and also Sherma's here. It's gonna be a bit of a while until Sherma becomes if at all. I don't know if I'll ever get to Silk Song. Probably not in the near future, because considering how I still have a lot to learn. But I like Sherma, so Sherma's and he is here because I like him, and he's fun. Okay, I'm getting distracted. So I was playing Uma Musume and I got Seiyun Sky, which was really nice because after I did the roll for her, I only had like 50 carats left. And Seiyun is fun. I still feel like I need to build her better because she is allegedly one of the best frontrunners in the game. So I guess it's a bunch of trial and error and understanding like what to put with her. And as for and there's also like a tournament, like a monthly tournament, like the cups. Like last week it was like the Zodiac Cups is what I'm calling them. So last time it was the Taurus Cups, and I went to the Open League, and then I was like, I thought like, oh, maybe I'm gonna do the Expert League because the Open League only allows me to put like my B rank and lower horses to compete. And my really good horses, my really good Umas, they're B plus ranks. That was a mistake. People keep saying Silk Throng is Dark Souls 2 of Hollow Knight, but I've yet to see the beautiful yet somber love story of the Ivory King and Alsana. I see. I know Hollow Knight has this. I know that like people in the fandom ship Hornet with Loot is what her name. I think her name is. I don't think it's her name, but like it starts with an L. The Ojosama bug, the one that goes oh ho 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 ho. Lace. Her name is Lace. So people are shipping her with Lace. That's what I know. She does the ho 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 ho. Okay, that's enough yappery for now. We're gonna get to the main event. The woman trying to kill and it's... Oh, what? Gamercore, here's what you need to understand. I did not know that, but yes, people do ship her. I did not know about the enslaved part because I am... Like... Because I mostly experienced, that... It was in the trailer for the game, okay, but I did not connect the dots, okay? I did not connect the dots. I didn't know that. But yes, people are sheeping her with Lace. That's a real thing that the internet is doing. Is it Kate Vi but with bugs, guys? Which is your favorite Toxic Fury ship? Is it Kate Vi or is it Silk Song or Lace? Ah, okay. Thank you for the context with quotes. Again, I'm not very familiar with Hollow Knight lore, let alone Silk Song lore. Most of the things I've experienced of the game is like slight Twitch streams and memes. But yeah, I genuinely did not know that. But what I do know is that we're currently in the true route for 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. So last time we breezed through the beginning. We went through the 4th door. This time we took Santa's the bookmark from Santa, and we also asked and we also showed Akane our meat, and she said it's really hard. It's really firm. No, it's really hard, Junpei. And then what happened? And then we went to the operating room with Clover because my god, my girl needs emotional support. So we did that. We gave her emotional support. And then and we gave her the emotional support and the bookmarks, and then she discovered that she was and then we discovered about the ship of Theseus, and we found out that the snake is dead, even though we know he's not dead. Everyone look at my... Oh, that's cute. Thank you for the Dark Souls 2 fan art. I'm really... Again, I am not familiar with the lore of Dark Souls. Most of my experience with Dark Souls is just playing like the first room in number 3 with friends. I do need to one day like go through Dark Souls 3 and get good, if at all. Let me try Hollow Knight first. So then we went to the captain's quarters, which we did not go to last time. Clover was getting suspicious. We went through all the options of who could kill him, even though we know it's Ace, who is acting very sus in this place. So yeah. The space they found themselves in outside of the wheelhouse was far too narrow to be called a hallway. We escaped the door, now we're going to do another escape room. On their left was a wooden door. Junpei pushed it open and stepped into the room beyond. It was an all-out manner of turn-of-the-century electronic equipment. Most of them were things they'd never seen before. They had no idea what they might have been for, let alone how to operate them. One smaller machine had a metal bar that ended in a circular handle. That's for Morse. Ace seemed to recognize it. Ah, yes, a telegraph key. These were used to transmit Morse code a long time ago. He turned and slowly took the room. This must be the communication office. Across the room from the door they'd entered through, there was another door. A metal plate was nailed to it. It read, Captain's Quarters. The Captain's Quarters?
That's what it says.
Then do you think... I am Zero, the captain of this ship. Ace swallowed. Ivory King was my goat because he loved his wife so hard that she tamed the darkness of Magnus, and he became the only king with the children of Magnus to not fall to his wife, but instead she begs you to mercy to kill him, while since he's busy 1v1ing the devil. Wow, Dark Souls lore is wild. Ace swallowed. Junpei could feel his hands begin to sweat. Only Clover seemed unaffected.
Well, we won't know if we don't open it.
She walked up to the door and put her hand on the knob. It opened easily, and without so much as a pause, she walked in. Junpei and Ace followed. The first thing they saw was a man on the floor covered in blood. Junpei felt his blood seize up. His mouth went dry and he felt very, very cold. The blood in his veins slowed to a crawl and his heart tightened like a fist. This was the third time he'd seen the horror of death laid out before him. He didn't think it was something he could stand to see much more of. Still, he had begun to accept that whatever it was he saw, whatever happened to him, was beyond his control. And whatever force controlled him was driven by a determination he could not hope to match. A sense of helplessness, of desperation washed over him. It left behind a feeling of utter emptiness that warmed its way through his body like acid. Then he realized they have yet to check the man's pulse. Perhaps he was still alive. Fueled by a spark of hope, Junpei ran to the man's body, and his heart fell. His fingers on the man's neck felt no pulse. His pupils had dilated and he wasn't breathing. Junpei lifted the man's already stiff body. There was a deep red wound in his chest. Junpei didn't have to wonder long at what could have made such a wound. For lying next to him, next to the corpse, was an axe. The entire blade of it was drenched in bright red blood. From the shape of the man's wound, there was no doubt that it had been made by the axe. Junpei looked at the body again. A lake of blood stretched out around it. It was wearing the clothes of a ship's captain, although they were stained with blood. A captain. Did that mean that this man was Zero? On his left hand was a bracelet. The number of the bracelet was 0. It was only then that Junpei noticed the stench of blood that filled the room. Ugh. Couldn't help but laugh. There was nothing else for him to say. It was too simple, too obvious, too straightforward. If there hadn't been a dead man on the floor, Junpei might have thought it was a joke. So in one of these rooms, you have a dead body. That's fun. Okay. Let's begin by looking at the chair.
There's blood on the chair. You think this was that guy's?
Yeah, probably.
A camera recorder.
It looks like it's pointed at the door.
Well, the power's on.
Why would someone want to videotape the door? I think this kind of camera records to a hard drive. But it doesn't look like this one's recording anything.
What do you mean?
It's just sending whatever it sees to something.
What does it see?
This door.
A bed. There's nothing in it.
phone? No, it's a music box. Oh, it's one of those old music boxes. How about we wind it up?
Why does it sound like that? Is it broken?
The pins on the cylinder are all shaped weird.
I do think these are pins. It looks like someone put something else on top of it. I think we're gonna have to take it apart to figure out what's going on, don't you?
Small table.
It's a lamp, but it doesn't turn on. I don't think there's anything special about it.
Ooh. This one shows a central staircase on C deck. There's a bunch of weird buttons on here. They're probably switched to see what you see on the screens.
Do you know how to work this thing?
Why don't we just press one of these? Like this one. Well, I guess it does change the... What the hell is this? Looks like a twisted joke, if you ask me. What the hell is this? What's the deal with this? Is it some kind of code? There are 4 rows of numbers and letters. They all start with 0 and end with 8, F, N, or V, respectively. Maybe it has something to do with number bases? Oh my god. I forgot about the number bases! Junpei snorted with grim humor for the second time since he'd come to this room. The 4 screens along the bottom had a single letter, each spelling out 0. Junpei felt as though he was being mocked. The real villain was somewhere, laughing at him. What do you think? He turned to Clover, who was standing next to him. Her voice was almost too low to hear.
Nothing.
It seemed she cared about little. Of course, Junpei could hardly blame her. Given the strain she was surely under, Junpei was somewhat surprised she had responded at all. Still, he had to ask. He gestured towards the corpse. What about him? You think that's really 0? Clover shook her head weakly.
There's no way that's him. Didn't I tell you already? 0 is one of us.
Yeah, right. But even if he wasn't one of us, there's no way the man could be 0. Don't you get it? The letters that spell 0 on TV screen. The captain's clothes he's got on. And of course the bracelet with the 0 on it. It's too obvious. Also, if this is the bracelet we're thinking of, also, hello, welcome to the stream. We're currently playing 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Dwarves. Look, this is 0, right here. This dead body is 0. Doesn't that seem kind of funny to you?
You're right. Only an idiot would see through something like that.
No, that's not the point. I'm not trying to make fun of them for thinking a trick like this would work. I'm sure they didn't think it would work. Which makes me wonder, why did they do it? I think this is a challenge. A challenge for the person who's really behind all this. He's making fun of us. Don't you get it? If whoever killed this guy wanted to think about this corpse was 0, they never put a bracelet on him. Walking about with 0 bracelet would be like hanging a sign around your neck that said, I did it. I think their brain would be able to see that this guy's supposed to look like everything 0 is supposed to be. Just like we did. The killer must have known we wouldn't think he was 0 and put the bracelet on him anyway. Do you know why?
Why?
Like I said, he's mocking us. Too bad, suckers. This isn't 0. It's the same bad joke a lot of criminals like to play. They'll just sit back and watch people run in circles. Look, here I am. What's wrong, guys? Come on, catch me. Catch me if you can.
That's really twisted. It almost seems kind of childish.
Yeah, you're right. It's really childish. It's just like a game to whoever this person is. That's what seems funny to me. Junpei bent down next to the corpse. Alright, let's get back to the point. Who killed this man?
I don't know.
And what's this guy's deal? Who is he?
How would I know that? If I knew anything, I would have told you.
You have no idea who he is?
Why would I?
Junpei sat down with his hunches and thought. We should check and see if he's got anything on him that might tell us who he is. Give me a hand here, Clover. What? You gotta flip him over. How else are we gonna search his pockets? Clover didn't move. Junpei had no choice but to move the body on his own. He grabbed hold of the area not completely covered in blood and shoved. It took a moment, but eventually Junpei felt the man's bulk begin to shift. But just as he did, something fell from the man's left wrist. The bracelet with 0 on his face.
Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only two ways to do so. 1. You escape from this ship. 2. Your heart rate reaches 0. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confines of this ship, or detects that its wearer's heartbeat has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically.
Junpei stared at the bracelet. This man, he's dead, isn't he? Huh? No, it's just, I guess I didn't really think about it until now. If his bracelet's off, that means he's dead.
Well, it's pretty obvious that he's dead. You don't really need to look at his bracelet to figure out that he's dead.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It is pretty obvious. Looks a lot better than the other bodies we've seen, though, you know? I mean, there wasn't all this blood. He'd almost look like he was still alive. I mean, I know it's kind of a messed up thing to say, but he kind of has it better than, you know, a dying bomb going up inside you. I mean, that's just... Some of Snake's bones went right through his skin. I think that explosion must have thrown him against a wall or something. There's a broken bone just sticking out of his left arm. Suddenly, Junpei realized what he was saying. How could he have been so cruel? He clapped his hands over his mouth. But it was already too late. He turned to look at Clover. She was glaring at him furiously.
What did you just say?
Her words sounded cold. He knew an apology could hardly atone for what he's done, but he tried anyway. Oh man, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I really don't know what I was thinking. I mean...
No, that's not what I'm talking about. What did you say about his arm?
Arm?
Yes, his left arm. You said it, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I did, but... I mean, didn't you see it too?
Of course not. I could barely look at him.
Clover took a quick, deep breath.
Are you sure it was his left arm?
Junpei thought back. I mean, this is already something we know. But it's really cool to see that all the characters reach the same conclusions, like in different circumstances. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
And he had a broken bone, right?
What the hell are you getting at here?
Just shut up and answer me.
She shoved her face closer to his. He could see the fire in her eyes. Junpei winced and swallowed. Yeah, he did. It was pretty bad, too. The bone was sticking out of his arm. No sooner were the words out of his mouth than Clover's expression changed. Suddenly, she was crying. Junpei wasn't sure what to do. Thank you. It was close to the last thing he expected to hear. Junpei had no idea what had just happened. He didn't think he'd done anything worthy of thanks, and he couldn't understand why she could have chosen the moment to begin crying. He simply stood there, confused. Thank you, Junpei. She thanked him again, and then something even stranger happened. Clover threw herself into Junpei's surprised arms. Hey, what's going on with you?
I'm sorry, it's just... I'm so happy.
Why?
The body in the shower room. It isn't his. It isn't my brother.
Huh?
It's not Snake.
Why on earth would you think that?
Because his left arm is...
She stopped herself.
I'm sorry. I really shouldn't be talking about this.
Junpei decided it would be prudent not to press her for any more information. If she did not wish to tell him, she certainly had a reason for doing so. Perhaps more importantly, however, if Clover was so certain, she was likely right. Okay. For those of you who do not know, I think the game is gonna explain it later, but as a reminder, Snake's left arm is prosthetic. That's also how he managed to, like, trick the the 9th door in the escape route.
That meant the body in the shower room was insane. It wasn't much, but the knowledge lifted some of the weight from Junpei's heart.
He's still alive! I'm so happy!
Tears shone in her eyes.
Sorry, I gave myself, it's fine, you're allowed to do that.
Those tears melted Junpei's heart, and she cried. She had pushed herself onto his chest like a child. Junpei put his arms around her and held her tight.
Junpei, you were right. No matter what happens, you can never lose hope. You have to remember what's most important, that's to have faith and to have love. If you can remember all those, that'll bring you good luck.
Clover reached into her pocket and pulled something out. It was a laminated bookmark with a four-leaf clover.
I only made it here because it gave me this. I was suspicious of everybody and I was angry and miserable. Because I had this four-leaf clover. Because of what you said to me,
Junpei hadn't thought his words would have such an effect on her. Her words were making him feel a little awkward.
Thank you so much, Junpei.
She looked up at him. He scratched his nose and pretended to notice something interesting somewhere else in the room. If you really want to thank somebody, you should be thanking Santa.
Santa? Why?
Well, he was the one who gave me that thing. And then, the words for each leaf, I got that from him too. Then suddenly, Clover broke away from Junpei. Huh? He looked confused. He hadn't thought she'd react that poorly. Clover began to pace across the room. 6 steps to the left. 6 steps to the right. Another 6 to the left. And then she stopped.
Did Santa really tell you those things?
Her eyes were serious, but not angry. Yeah, he did. Did I say something wrong?
Oh no, not at all. In fact, this could be really good news. I think.
You think?
Santa knew about the words in the clover. The only people who should know about that are all the other subjects.
Subjects?
The other people who were in the experiment 9 years ago with my brother and me. But he's blind. And I was part of the Nevada test group. So neither of us would be able to recognize the faces of people who were on the boat.
Whoa, time out! Junpei held up his hands. He took a deep breath and let it out. Let's just calm down for a sec, okay? Start from the top. Don't start with the end, and then jump to the middle. You gotta start at 1 and move to 2 and 3 and 4 and so on. If you don't tell me stuff in the right order, I'm never gonna be able to figure it out. Clover nodded. Alright, let's start with the experiment. What happened on this boat 9 years ago?
Do you know about morphogenetic fields?
He did, but the realization sent chills down Junpei's spine. Alright, how about this? Theory of the telepathic mechanism. Junpei recounted what Lotus had told him earlier. Clover nodded.
Telepathy, huh? Well, that's not really it, but I suppose it's similar.
So they were testing telepathy on this ship?
Yeah, I guess so.
So, what exactly did you guys do?
The same thing we're doing now. Exactly the same thing.
What?
The nonary game. 9 people were put on this boat and 9 others were put in a building in Nevada. And the game started.
So we didn't know about the second building in the safe route. We only knew about the ship. Junpei grabbed the sides of his head. Look, I'm sorry, but I don't get it. What do the nonary games and some telepathy experiment have to do with each other? Clover bit her lip. She blinked back and sent tears.
What had happened to her in Nevada?
The ability to access the morphogenic field is affected by a couple of things. First is epiphany, and the other is danger. You know how sometimes when you're up against a really tough problem, and then the answer just kind of pops into your head? That's epiphany. And what you learn from the epiphany can be transmitted with telepathy. When you add danger to the equation, then it gets easier to transmit that information over telepathy.
So you're saying the memory games were supposed to introduce that element of danger?
Yeah, but it couldn't just be any old danger. It had to be life and death. And someone did actually die. A girl.
Junpei felt the sudden grip of despair in his heart. Something deep and distant and powerful squeezed, and for a moment he felt very empty and alone.
She was on the boat with my brother. I was in Nevada, so I never met her, but I did hear her name. Her name was,
Sound of the door opening was like a gunshot. Ace is at it again, guys. Pretend to be surprised that he's blocking us. Oh, my apologies. I seem to have disturbed you. Ace, you two must have strong stomachs. I can't imagine how you could stay in this room for so long.
Ace glanced down at the floor, at the corpse covered in blood.
At any rate, Junpei, would you be so kind as to come help me with something? I'm having a little trouble and I could really use your assistance. Come on, it'll only take a moment. With that, he turned and walked back towards the communications office. Clover waited until he was out of sight and spoke in a small, quiet voice.
I don't want Ace to hear us. We can talk about this later.
Huh? Hey, wait! Clover ignored him. From outside, Junpei could hear Ace calling. Junpei, what are you doing in here? Hurry up! Ugh! Grumbling to himself, Junpei stomped off towards the communications office. A pair of headphones. I can't hear anything. Guess whatever they're connected to doesn't work anymore. Hey Ace, look! It's a model of a steam train. How on earth did you arrive at that conclusion? To be honest, I have no goddamn idea what this thing really is. It's probably some kind of radio transmitter. Hey Ace, look! It's a monkey with glasses! How on earth did you arrive at that conclusion? It's just a normal light. Well, it won't turn on, so it's not that normal. It's a telegraph key, a machine for transmitting Morse code. I tried sending an SOS earlier, but I doubt it did anything. Zero would never make it that easy. So you think it's broken? No, it works. I'm just not sure it actually transmits anything outside the ship. Looks as though this drawer is the only thing that's locked. I don't see a keyhole though. An electric lock, perhaps? Take a look at the left side of the drawer. Yeah, there's some cables over there. Must mean. Oh, cool. Hey, what is this? It's blank. There's nothing written on it. Whew, we're probably gonna need that paper. Small screwdrivers. Alright, the screwdriver ought to make short work of this music box. Now we have a cylinder because the music box wasn't very music boxing. So I know how to solve this puzzle. I guess I'll put the ink on the cylinder. And then this to that. Now I just gotta roll a cylinder across the piece of paper. If I'm right, the ink should... Just as you suspected, right? Now you have a pattern of dots and lines on the paper. I imagine it's Morse code. With dots and lines and dots and dashes of Morse code. Okay, it's only this drawer. Only this drawer. I guess that I need to,
Alright, I've got this Morse code I'm supposed to enter. If I do it right, something will happen. I hope. Alright, let's give this a shot. And once we do that, that's the last one, and yes! Excellent work, Junpei, good job. You seem to have figured it out. You unlock the drawer. And let's see what's in the drawer. Two things, actually. A red file lay in a drawer. Junpei reached down and picked it up. The cover read, All Ice. All ice. Alice. Did that mean... Junpei couldn't hold back. He had to know what was inside that file. Each page was covered with strange characters. They looked like tiny drawings of birds, snakes, insects, horned animals. Why use Morse code when you can use horse code? Budabu Musume. Oh, we're probably gonna have a new Uma Musume stream eventually when I'll feel like it, because I do like streaming the game for you guys. There were many pages in the file, and each of them was full of these strange symbols. What the hell is this? He didn't realize he spoke it out loud until Ace looked over at him. These are hieroglyphs, a form of writing used in ancient Egypt. You know, when I think of ancient Egypt, it reminds me of like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Star Platinum? No, Stardust Crusaders. I confused the name of the stand with the name of the I confused the name of the stand with the name of the part. That's right. Can you read them? Of course, I can't. Why would you think? What would make you think I could? What the hell? Junpei flipped through a few more pages. It wasn't just one or two pages that were covered with strange symbols. Every single one was covered of them. Trying to read them was pointless. Junpei wasn't going to waste any more time with them. He made to close the file. And something fell out. He bent down and picked it up. A key card. There was a symbol on it that reminded Junpei of the symbols of the Saturn and Mercury key cards. This one, however, had a dawn descent of the male symbol. Is this the Uranus key card? Uranus. My favorite hand in the Lotro. That's the Uranus symbol. Junpei looked over to see Ace examining the card. In addition to the Uranus symbol, there were 3 words engraved in the card as well. On the lower right, it said Bottom Deck Library. It must be the key to the library on the bottom deck. So it would seem. The bottom deck, the library. Junpei remembered something he'd heard about 7 when they were in the chemical closet. Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the forest of knowledge beneath the navel of the gigantic. Did beneath the navel mean bottom deck? Did forest of knowledge mean the library? If it did, then was Alice in a room somewhere beyond the library? Maybe Alice is 0. What's wrong? Junpei blinked. Only then did he notice Ace looking at him. Curiosity and concern written across his face in equal parts. There was no reason for Junpei to hide his thoughts. He began to explain the theory to Ace. Then he stopped. It wouldn't make any sense if Ace didn't know who Alice was supposed to be. So he told Ace everything June had told him. About the Egyptian priestess. About Ice 9. And finally, about the woman who wouldn't melt, who had been recovered from the Titanic disaster. He told him about how she was called All Ice, which eventually turned to Alice. And how she had been purchased by an English millionaire who called himself Lord Gordain. And how Gordain hid Alice somewhere in this ship. And you think that he hid her in a small room beyond the library on the bottom deck? Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess so. I see. Ace stared off into the distance, his hands slowly and absent-mindedly stroking his beard. After a few moments, he had stopped. His hands stopped. He turned slowly to look at Junpei and his brows drew together. Requiem for a King is such a pretty song. Is it also from Dark Souls 2? Junpei, have you heard the term CAS? CAS? It stands for Cells Alive System. It's an advanced technology for freezing and preserving organic matter. Put simply, it is a technique that allows one to freeze things without the formation of ice crystals. Normally, if you freeze something fresh, water within its cells expands and crystallizes, damaging the cell membrane. CAS, however, works perfectly. The object to be frozen is super cooled using magnetic fields, and then frozen instantly and uniformly, giving ice crystals no time to form. It was originally developed for the preservation of food as an alternative to the normal freezing process. Now, however, there are rumors it can be used for other things.
You know, it's funny he mentions it because it's also relevant to the sequel.
What do you mean other things? Well, there are obvious medical uses, but perhaps also space travel. Space travel? Are you serious? Surely you've heard of suspended animation, cryogenic freezing? It's a fairly common idea in science fiction books and films. People are sometimes frozen for especially lengthy journeys through space. And was when Junpei understood what Ace was suggesting.
Whoa, wait a minute there.
Ace looked at him and raised an eyebrow. Are you saying that Alice was frozen using that cast thing? Well, I'm sure the possibility is quite low, but it is a possibility. If this special ice you call Ice 9 does indeed exist, and if cast were used to freeze her into that sort of ice instantaneously, you think she could be alive? Well, I can't say for sure, of course. I'm only talking about possibilities. The melting point for Ice 9 is 96 degrees, right? If she were put somewhere where she could reach that temperature, that's nuts. Are you really saying she could have defrosted and started walking about? You're quite right. It does sound unbelievable. But if she had, then we would have had an explanation for the man found dead on the floor. I mean, the guy dressed like a captain? Yes. He was dead when we found him. Clearly he was murdered. But if he was murdered, then by who? It couldn't have been one of us. And that would be impossible. In order to enter the captain's quarters, one must first open the door 1. That door would require the earth key and prevent us accessing the door. Who was it that opened the door? Santa and Lotus. Right. Clearly, the two of them could not have opened door 1 or any other door for that matter. Who else then could have done so? Junpei thought for a second. No, nobody. After Santa and Lotus had used the earth key, they turned back and met up with Junpei and Jun, who had returned from the Eden. The four of them then proceeded to return to the large hospital room to reunite with Ace, 7, and Clover. When Junpei and his team had gone into the shower room, Ace, 7, and Clover had been left in a large hospital room, but they would have been unable to open door number 1. Perhaps when Junpei and Jun had taken the elevator to number 2 door, then? No, that would have been impossible. They had gone only 5 minutes. No human would be able to run to the captain's quarters, kill the man there, and return in 5 minutes. It would be impossible for any of us to be the murderer. That being the case, who could have killed him? It would make sense that the killer was someone who had been in the ship for some time. A person like that would know the ship well. Know the location of all the hidden passages and secret doors. Number doors would do nothing to them, something like that. It would be a simple thing for them to enter for the captain's quarters. You're saying the killer was Alice? It was Junpei's turn to raise an eyebrow. Ace drew his thumb across his lips thoughtfully.
Well, this is the only possible theory. All eyes. Alice. Was Alice indeed somewhere on the ship with them? Junpei had only one clue. The key card in his hand. It would, he hoped, grant him access to the Force of Knowledge. But beyond that, what waited for him beyond the Force of Knowledge? Whatever might be there, however, would have to wait. At the moment, there was nothing Junpei could do. He gripped the key card tighter and shoved it deep into his pocket. And we also got this. A unique key. Key with leather case. It is in metal. I guess it would be ceramic. Junpei, have you found a key or a keyhole that might fit it? Maybe it's the key to the exit? Oh! Ah, that's where it goes. Control panel for electronic clock. Looks like it's got a keyhole in the bottom, right? Maybe the key I got earlier. It fits. Sweet! You just have to put the key in and now it's on.
Junpei, look! There's a minus sign on the screen.
There's 8 of them. It probably means we gotta put 8 digits.
Do you think we can figure it out?
That's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 0, 1, 2, 8. I think maybe there's more hints around here. Hey, isn't the door on that screen right behind us?
You're right.
So whatever the camera sees is sent to the screen in real time.
I wonder if it means something, you know?
This is gonna be a little tricky.
You got a short lifeline, Junpei.
Hey, mind your own business! Oh, of course she'd be into palm reading. That only makes sense. There's a plaque on the door, but it doesn't say anything. Look at 8 digits, huh? I am a little confused as to what I'm supposed to put here. What's the password? Pretty sure a search should be part of this room by now. Zero, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, F. I'm a little confused. Clock mounted on the wall. Hands aren't moving. A little surprised that the time is wrong there. There's nothing on the back. Look, a hook. That wasn't a joke. I know, man. It's just funny to clown on this man. have a feeling that my hint is the numeral system chart. A, B, C, D, E, F. It's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Wow, I'm confused. Oh, fuck. Come on, Ace. I'm trying to figure out how to do the stupid puzzle and I'm stuck. Shit, wrong again.
Hey, Junpei, don't you find a list of numbers and letters? Don't you think that might be a clue?
I mean, I've seen it. I just don't know how to solve it. It's hexadecimal stuff.
Hey, Junpei, look at the letters on the monitor. Do you think maybe the letters in this list have something to do with each other? There's an E on this screen, so if you combine it with the 3 other letters, it says 0.
I wonder why is that only one letter per monitor? If they want to say 0, they really need one monitor for that, you know. And why?
Maybe there's a reason why the letters are displayed individually?
It's not really a 0, it's a Z-E-R-O. Oh my god. Yeah, exactly. I don't get this. What the hell am I supposed to do?
Hey, Junpei, the list has something to do with like number bases and stuff, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Why would a hexadecimal number A be in base 10? It will be... What about B?
11.
C? 12. So that means you can make the letters into 2-digit numbers, right?
Okay, Clover has helped me a bit, so I'm going to write down her advice. E is 14. Ten, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24.
all is 24, 25, 26, 27. 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. So, in other words, no. Ugh. Screw this. It's no one help me to figure this one out.
Hey, Junpei, you know the letters on the screens? If we convert them to numbers, they'll give us a passcode.
What do you mean?
Okay, well, let's say we've got the number system called base 36.
Ah, it's 36. I miscalculated. I'm just gonna write all of them. It's not it. Oh my god.
I'm currently trying to Clover, you have to understand he's a business major. He doesn't actually learn anything. Oh my god. I mean, it's true. It's 26. So maybe it's 35? I'm getting there. I'm this close to Googling the fucking answer, but no, I want to solve this. Because let's see, if A is 0, so we have 26 letters in the English alphabet. But A is 10, it's our 0. Which means that the other ones are 26. It's like their number in the alphabet minus 1. Plus 10, I think so. So for example, E, we know if F is 15, E is 14. This one I know for real, for real. Z is 35, I think, because it's the 26th letter. Because it's the 26th letter. Chat, I'm literally with my phone open with like the numbers of like the letters. I am insane. I've really gone off the deep end just to make sure that like I'm doing this correct. R is 27. Z is 35. And E is 14. $35. It's 35, 14. 27. And then it's 24. There we go. I literally, okay, I did it. And here's what I did, chat. I opened, and this is really embarrassing. I went to Google. I looked up how many letters are in the alphabet, and I found the picture. And like the picture had the letters, but also the numbers of them in the alphabet. Listen, it's really embarrassing because I should know what the numbers are, but like I needed to visually. So So I can do that, but not, like, understand. Quirrell from Hollow Knight is telling me, hey, you don't need to go to the Mantless Lords yet. Go through this area. You just need to get the grippers. No, my reading comprehension is whenever... My reading comprehension, mathematical comprehension, just goes to whatever the fuck it needs to be at the moment. It worked.
Good job, Junpei.
Thank you, Clover. Excellent, we seem to have unlocked it. Good work, Junpei. Alright, let's go. And the fact that, like, Junpei is just moulding from it, it just shows that, like, Uchikoshi knows what he did. He gave gamers, he tricked gamers into doing that kind of BS. I mean, it's crazy. They stepped out of the captain's quarters and into another hallway. The hallway stretched out in front of Junpei for a bit before turning left like a great backward L. Junpei rounded the corner and took out down to the straight way. He ran. And ran. And ran. At the end of the hallway there was a door. He made straight for it. He was nearly halfway when he noticed a piece of paper in the middle of the floor. What was a piece of paper doing in the middle of the hallway? Junpei skidded to a halt. He dropped down to his hands and knees and quickly tore the paper off the floor. Now that he had a chance to examine it more closely, it was clear that it was a map. More specifically, a map of the ship's interior for the A deck. What's wrong? Ace, slightly slower by virtue of his advanced stage, has finally caught up to Junpei. Junpei said nothing, simply showed Ace what he had found. He looked at it enough to determine what it was and nodded. I see. That he began running again past Junpei. Junpei shoved the map into his pocket and got up to follow Ace, but something stopped him. Hey, where's Clover? He turned around. Clover was nowhere to be seen. Damn it, where the hell is she up to? What the hell is she up to? Junpei muttered angrily under his breath and took off the way he'd come. As he stopped around the corner, he saw her. She was standing in front of the door in the captain's quarters, her hands on the doorknob. As Junpei watched, she closed it, gently and quietly. What the hell are you doing?
Nothing?
What do you mean, nothing? Clover had unconsciously put her hands over the pockets of her jacket, as if trying to hide something. What the hell is that?
What?
You've got something in your... You've got something in your pocket. What is it?
This. This is... a note.
A note?
Yeah. I found it in a pocket of the guy with the captain's clothes. It said something about the darkness of the sinister hand or something.
It's that! It's Truth at Gone! What the hell? Let me see it. But Junpei wasn't going to get to see it. From the other end of the hall, he heard Ace's voice. Pretend you're surprised that Ace is getting in the way of the, of the issue. Ace who invited you. Exactly! Hey, Junpei. Clover. What are you two doing here? Hurry up. Clover shrugged.
I'll show you to you later, alright? Come on, we gotta hurry.
Before Junpei could protest, she was gone. Around the corner and off down the long stem of the owl. A note? A note. Junpei was curious. But there was something else that bothered him. Her pocket had been bulging far more than it would from just a note.
Junpei did his best to convince himself that it would make sense later and ran off after Clover. Junpei pushed through the door and found himself in a large room with a large set of stairs. It was just as he expected to see after reading the map. His "I see" after reading the map himself probably meant that Ace had probably realized the same thing. He put his hand on the handrail and leaned over to look down. Yeah, sorry, I'm just doing something. Thank you so much for the posture check, Mercy. I'm standing up. Okay, I was just I had some off stream stuff to take care of. There he was, and not just Ace, Santa, June, Seven, and Lotus as well. Junpei and Clover glanced at each other and hurried down the stairs. They reached the B deck at the same time. Junpei! Clover! June's face was excited. Internet died, I hope I didn't miss anything. No, I was just checking some stuff off stream. But I'm with you. What's up? Given her situation, he was not inclined to be excited about sudden developments. June, however, couldn't contain herself. We found it! Found what? We found it! What did you find? The last door! We found door number 9! What? Come on, just follow us. Okay, seems like, just as we're about to get it, I am going to, return to refill my water bottle and hydrate. So enjoy the bop in the meantime.
Congratulations, Gira. You got me. You got me. You made me step away from the screen. I also got myself an apple while I was at it. Okay. Let's go back to door number 9. Come on, just follow us. We'll explain it on the way. Apple. Okay, let's go. 7 turned and jogged off down the stairs. The rest followed.
We finally made it.
Happy. What's your favorite apple? I think I asked this question before. Like, what's your favorite type? No, I know what type. What's your favorite species of apple? No, is it species? Green? Green is nice. I mean, I like Granny Smiths and I like Pink Ladies. The relief and excitement in her voice. Yellow delicious. Ooh, a yellow apple enjoyer. You know, yellow apples have a very... Like, I remember when I was a kid, I really didn't like yellow apples, but I like them. They're more mellow. Yeah, it's finally time. Chippy wasn't quite ready to believe they'd done it. At least, not yet. Still, if everyone said that was door number 9, and it probably was. He could feel his heart racing. A mixture of anticipation and fear ran through his veins, and he could feel his legs shaking. He was doing his best to maintain a sense of healthy skepticism, but he couldn't deny that the prospect of escape was an exciting one. Gala? Gala apples are red, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think Gala apples are pretty nice too. When I was a kid, I only ate green apples because, like, the red apples I ate were just, I didn't like them. But now I like red apples fine. I think a Pink Lady these days is my favorite because it's very sweet. And there were 7 of them. There was more thing couldn't get it. There was 7 of them on the way to door 9, which meant that even in the best case scenario, there would be 2 of them who would have to stay behind. 2 people. He didn't have any solutions to that problem yet, but he was desperately hoping one would present itself. Junpei looked over at the clock. The hands indicated it was 4:30. The witching hour. They had 90 minutes before their time was up. Hey! Junpei! June! What the hell are you 2 doing? Hurry it up! Senna's voice jolted Junpei out of his reverie.
Let's go, Junpei.
June took off the stairs, jogging as quickly as she could. Junpei followed. As a group, they piled onto the elevator and rode impatiently down to E deck. It looked familiar. There was a metal grate between the 2 elevators. 7 grabbed hold of it and began to talk. I know I told you I'd explain it much earlier, but honestly, there ain't much to explain. After we split off from you guys, the 4 of us got onto the elevator and left. And that took us to the other side of the grate. After that, they'd headed down another hallway. It took them towards the bow of the ship and eventually to number 6 that Junpei and June found earlier. With 4, they'd been able to open the door and keep going. As usual, they faced the locked door, but had been forced to complete 2 different areas before they could unlock it. Yeah, we know it because we did it last time. Once they were through that door, there was another hallway that went down the direction towards the stern. So on your way, you found the elevator. That's right. So in other words, you kind of did a lap, huh? You came from that side to this side. Yeah. That settled, Junpei looked around. So where's the number 9 door? Over here. Follow me. Then began walking down the hallway and led down towards the stern. But Junpei and the others broke into a jog to keep up with him. I think that like 7 just has big steppies, and because his steppies are just so big, then like they just have to catch up with him. So for him, it's like a speed walk. Yeah, big steppies. Like 7 is a literal mountain. I'm pretty sure. Gamer4, can you go to the Wikia and show how tall 7 is?
You know, it's because Santa that we're all here right now.
Huh?
Not all 7 of us are going to door number 9. You don't get it? Santa, 7, and Lotus. What's their digital route?
Yeah, they can leave June behind.
It's 9. That's right. They could have just left me behind and kept going if they wanted to.
But they didn't.
Yes.
Unknown like everything else about 7. So we just have to assume that he's tall. What's his height? The answer is yes.
Because Santa wouldn't let them. He said we can't leave June behind. That's why we went looking for you guys.
And then you got onto the elevator and went back to the central staircase.
That's right.
We don't even know his name. Yeah, all these years and the 7... By the way, this game is like over 15 years old and we still do not know 7's real name. We know his age range. We know what he used to do, but we don't know his real name, and we don't know how tall he is. We also don't know if he has a family. What if his name is just 7, no code name needed? Maybe. I already did that once in this game. Well, I wouldn't have called him that one. That Santa would be one to stick up for you, I mean. Junpei felt his eyes knit as he considered that. When you're here, you're family.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Perhaps June has sensed Junpei's concern.
I don't mean that 7 and Lotus said they wanted to leave me behind. We were just talking about it and Santa objected to it first.
Junpei was about to respond when 7 suddenly stopped. In front of them stood a door. But yeah, again, my headcanon is that like 7 is speed walking, you know, like in jogging, and like everyone else is just sprinting. But like 7 because 7 just has a bigger mass and like area coverage, he doesn't have to exert the same amount of energy as everyone else. So, is this... Junpei couldn't see 7's face, but he could see him nod. There's no other place for us to go? Nope. Just look around. At the end of the hallway was a thick iron wall. To the left and right, other hallways led to the port and starboard sides of the ship, but they were both closed off by thick metal grates. It looked as though 7 was right. The door in front of them was their only choice. All right, let's get moving. He pulled open the door and walked in. Junpei took a deep breath and followed.
It appeared they'd been telling the truth. It appeared they both did. The first thing Junpei saw when he entered this room was a number. 9. Like all the other numbers, it was a rough thing made of red paint. The door it decorated sat down the back of the rectangular room. Junpei ran up to it. It was a large double door with a powerful styling. Something about it was almost majestic, and it made the red paint look especially garish. Junpei grabbed the handle and shook. It didn't budge, but then, he hadn't really expected to. The red was bolted next to the wall next to the door. Its display read vacant. Finally, they had arrived. Junpei felt a flood of emotion wash over him. He felt a chill down his back and his chest tighten even as his blood began to boil. He was about to speak when... Junpei, look behind you! He turned around. Junpei could scarcely believe what he saw. A door and then 9. There was another one. Hey! What the hell? What the hell is going on here? His words came slowly and his brain struggled to understand what he'd seen. On shaky legs, he made his way to the second 9. It was a small door set parallel to the door they came through, but in the other corner of the room. 9. There was no mistaking the number if any more proof was needed. A red was bolted to the wall near the door. He grabbed the handle and shook the door, not because he expected it to open, but because he had to make sure it was real. What the hell? Why the hell are there 2 doors? It was Ace who spoke first. Do you think perhaps this one is the right door and the other is the wrong one? Lotus was skeptical. I don't know about that. It seems unlikely. What makes you say so? Well, think about all the rooms we've been through so far. They're full of puzzles, but there are always hints about how to solve them. I'm pretty sure there aren't any rooms where we just had to go through with our best guess and leave it to instinct to solve the puzzle. Do you really think that at the very end of the game, Zero is going to suddenly throw in something that depends entirely on luck? Then you're saying there's some sort of hint in this room?
No, I don't think there's a hint anywhere in here. I searched it very well, and I was in there before. I didn't find anything that might have been a hint, though.
Well, that means... Yes, both of these are both of these are the right door. I mean, if you think about it. Zero never actually said there was only one door with a 9 on it. The exit is hidden, but it is here. Seek the exit. Seek a door that carries a 9. Junpei began to mutter to himself. So there are 2 number 9 doors. We split up right.
That's not gonna work.
Junpei blinked and looked up at Clover. She held out her hand.
You've got a notebook and a pen, right? Can I borrow them?
I like how, Clover is the one that's real. I think like Clover's intelligence is that like she's really good at like she just like writes the numbers and calculates all the combinations. Like there's a joke. There's a joke like specifically about this game from Uchikoshi and Kodaka called 109 Last Defense Academy, and like because some of the routes in that game were written by Kodaka and some were written by Uchikoshi and others. So the joke is that like you entered the Uchikoshi route when all the characters suddenly gained a lot of IQ, and I feel it like, and what I like about this game is that like all the contestants have a level of intelligence to them. Clover, for example, sure she may not, like Clover, for example, is still trying to figure it out. Like she helped us figure out the base 10 numbers with like the hints, but like she's also the one who calculated the possibilities. And yeah, like she's even like when she's like about to go crazy. And by the way, in the act's ending, if you don't pass the story checks, after you go to the captain's quarters, she is going to basically kill everyone, including you, with an axe. But it's because she's very calculated. It's not necessarily because she's hysterical. Grief struck, yes, but yeah, and a little blind by trauma, yes. But she's not like. She's cold and calculating rather than hysterical, which is something I appreciate about this game. Not that a woman isn't good if she is, not if a female character isn't good if she gets quote-unquote hysterical. Look at this. Clover opened the notebook to a blank page and set it down on the desk. Everyone else gathered around her and watched as she wrote down a series of numbers.
You get it? The number at the top are all the combination of digital roots of 9. The numbers on the bottom are the people who don't fit. There's only 8 possibilities. If we split up into 2 groups of 3 or 4 people, so if 3 people go through the door, then 4 are left behind. If 4 go through, then 3 are left behind, right? Clover nodded. It was as if she were pleased with herself for solving a difficult math problem. The room went very quiet. Silence lay across everyone like a thick, heavy blanket. No, we can split up evenly. Kill Ace! Let's see, if Ace is dead, then our combinations are... Actually, no, we can take his bracelet. I mean, we can use his bracelet. Whoa. No, that's not working. Are you factoring in Snake's bracelet too? We don't have it yet, but yeah. You're asking Gira. No one spoke. Their faces were blank. Desperate for something else to look at, Junpei turned his eyes in to the room around him. As he did, he began to wonder, what was it? The walls were covered with candles. The wavering flame made the shadows of Junpei and his companions look as though they were dancing. No idea, I just see an opportunity. I mean, Ace should be apprehended for the crimes he made against literal children. But yeah. 2 rows of wooden pews filled most of the room. Between them was a strip of rich red carpet. The carpet ran straight through the room, ending at the door that pointed to the stern of the boat. The other end of the carpet. An altar? It was a recessed space set into the wall between the 2 other doors. Sitting on a raised section of the altar was a coffin. A coffin. No, it couldn't possibly be. But if it wasn't, then whose body occupied it? Yeah, this is not where Alice's corpse is, Junpei. Get with the program. It's allegedly in the library in the bottom deck. That was as far as Junpei wanted to pursue that line of thought. He decided not to think about the coffin for the time being. At that moment, Seven spoke. There was an edge of humor to his voice, but it was forced. Okay, I give up. I give up. I figured if we sat around here long enough, someone would volunteer, but I guess nobody's got the guts to do it. Junpei didn't understand, and he wasn't the only one. What? You guys didn't figure it out yet? Fine, fine. Let me enlighten you.
Clover was mostly right with her little explanation earlier, but she missed something. She wasn't really wrong. She just... Ah, screw it. Let me just write it out. And then he... Seven snatched up the notebook and began to write in it. Everyone else cluttered around him, desperate for a look. If you're going to leave with a group of 3 and a group of 4 and get everybody out, Clover's right. But there is another way. Only one combination, though. If you split us up into groups of 3, 3, and 1, you can make this combination. Wait, that means... don't get me wrong here. I'm not trying to copy Ace or anything like that. You don't want to copy Ace, Seven. Ace is not someone to imitate. He's not a role model. Even if he hadn't been the hero back in the big hospital room, I'd still be saying the same thing.
The same thing? Are you saying...
Yeah, I am. I'll stay behind.
Why are you acting heroic all of a sudden? Are you some kind of idiot?
Lotus was the first to speak.
These are the best, these are the true romantic pairing of this game. I mean,
There is another one which is gonna make more sense, but I can't speak about it yet because spoilers. But like this right here, this is romance. Romance is alive.
I mean, it is kind of like they are a bit mean towards each other, but like, I don't know. They also bring the best out of each other. They bring the best out of each other and they bring the worst out of each other. I like these two together.
That in itself was a little strange. She reacted much differently when Ace had volunteered.
I'm completely against this. I'll be goddamned if I'm going to have to owe you for getting out of here. They're still in the enemies phase of the enemies to lovers thing they've got going on.
The rest of them began to speak all at once.
I'm against it too. I don't want to leave Ace behind. I don't want to leave Ace behind, and I don't want to leave you either. I don't like that idea. There's gotta be other options.
I disagree as well. I can't say I care much for you being the hero.
No,
Finally, they quieted down. Junpei looked at Seven. Well, there you go, Seven. Proposal denied. Clover's right. There's gotta be a better way than this. Seven made some noise that was somewhere between the rise of snout and cough. Doesn't make any sense. He was doing his best to pretend they were making a foolish decision, but Junpei could see the twinkling of water in the corners of Seven's eyes.
we care about you, man. You're cool.
That was when Santa spoke. Well, hold on a minute. I haven't said anything yet. Until then, Junpei hadn't realized that San had stayed quiet for the whole discussion of Seven's fate. Something in his voice made Junpei uncomfortable. Are you agreeing? You want to leave him here? Santa shook his head. Nah, I'm against it. I don't want to leave Seven here alone. But I don't see how it matters. I said alone. Huh? I said I don't want to leave Seven alone. There was a dull shine in Santa's eyes. They were cold and hard. Junpei felt himself shiver.
What the hell are you?
What, you don't get it? I can't just leave one person. I need 2 more. 3 people, including Seven. I'll be leaving behind 3 people. That's my proposal. No, those are my orders.
What do you mean orders? What the hell makes you think you can order us around? Who the hell's gonna listen to you?
You all will. In 3 seconds, you won't have a choice.
What?
3, 2, 1. Santa was fast. Junpei could barely see him. When he moved, it was almost like watching a dance. His feet were moving like lightning. He spun and... Ah! June.
Okay, one of the things I noticed about this game, all of the women in this game get held by a man at either knife or gunpoint. Not necessarily to like declare this as an anti-feminist piece. I'm just saying that's a thing that happens in this game to all the women. See? I told you. His lips curled into a cruel, mocking smile. A shudder traveled the length of Junpei's spine. His chest froze and he could feel his breath go stale in his lungs. Nothing made sense. Junpei felt as though his head was about to explode. Sana's sudden change in attitude, saying that he needed 2 more. The gun in his right hand, a revolver. Also notice that like he always goes into door number 6. He's always gonna have access to the gun. If it's not gonna be with Ace, it's gonna be with him. Sana has grabbed June from behind and pressed what Junpei's shaken brain identified as a revolver roughly against her temple. What was he doing with the gun? Where on earth had Sana possibly found a gun? Junpei's question rolled word in his mind and his mouth refused to ask them. Seven spoke almost as though he had sensed Junpei's confusion. The gun's from the other room. What room? One of the rooms behind door 6. I should have known he was gonna do this. Should have taken the gun. Well, it's too late now, fat ass. Damn it! A mixture of fury and frustration twisted in Seven's face as he glared at Santa. Santa's first part didn't do as much as flinch. The corner of his lip twitched into a slightly wider smile. Then the smile faded and he began to move. He walked backward, dragging June with him. Before long, his back were resting against the door. On the wall next to him was the red. He put his hand on the scanner panel quickly and then forced June to do the same. Now, time for you to start following my orders. Ace, Lotus, congratulations! I've chosen you to come with me. Put your hands on the red. And that's what Santa meant when he needed 2 more. Hey, you deaf? I gave you an order! Santa's eyes narrowed to slits. He gathered at Ace and Lotus. They stayed, frozen like a deer caught in the headlights of an oncoming car. Right. Fine. I didn't want to waste any bullets, but you guys just don't get it. No sooner were the words out of Santa's mouth when his hand twitched. And the gun roared. A section of the floor exploded, scattering wooden splinters across the floor. A thin plume of smoke snaked out of the hole in the floor. There could be no doubt that the gun was real and worked.
Why? Santa, why are you... Santa, why are you...
Glover's voice spoke of betrayal and disbelief.
Santa, I thought you were one of us. I thought you were friends.
What?
You knew about the leaf fort and the 4-leaf clover.
Santa's cheek twitched and almost imperceptibly. What the hell is this shit? I've got no idea.
You're lying!
Shut up! Just shut up, you stupid bitch! You want me to put a bullet in your fucking head? Blacker as a spit flew from Santa's mouth, his face twisted with rage. Clover recoiled, her eyes wide. When she spoke, her voice was very small.
Santa...
He snorted and took his head vigorously to face Ace and Lotus. Alright, assholes. What are you still standing there for? Get over here and scan those bracelets. I don't have all day. Oh, what's the matter? Your hearing's starting to go? Going senile, maybe? Ace and Lotus still didn't move. It almost seemed as if they couldn't move.
Jun's face was pale behind Santa's arm. Her eyes were wild and her chest heaved with even every quick breath like an animal cornered by a predator. Junpei's mind worked furiously. What were they going to do? And he realized something. There was nothing they needed to do. There was nothing to debate. Jun's safety was first priority. That much was obvious. Doing as Santa has commanded meant that she would be safe from at least 2 threats. She wouldn't be shot and she would leave the ship alive, along with Santa, Ace, and Lotus. There was only one thing for Junpei to do. He turned to Ace and Lotus. Please, go. Huh?
But... Junpei, what are you saying? If you stay here, you're gonna be stuck, Junpei. And so will Clover and Seven.
I know, but you don't need to worry about us. We'll figure something out. Junpei then took a break to take a bite of an apple and started doing a mouthful. See, I'm still chill enough to eat something while in this hostage situation. I'll be fine.
Junpei, is this the right situation to eat an apple?
And then he just chews and gulps. Where the heck did he get the apple? I do not know. Eating an apple is usually symbolic of villainy, though. Yeah, maybe Junpei is the villain. Maybe he's been the villain this whole time. Right, Seven? Right. You just leave it to us. It's gonna piss me off to do what Santa says, but...
Don't worry about me either. There's still something I have to take care of. But... No! You can't! Ace! Lotus! Don't do it! Don't worry about me! Please!
Jun was almost crying. Junpei walked around behind Ace and Lotus. Without a word, he laid a hand on each of their backs and gently pushed them forward. They almost stumbled, then righted themselves and took another step and another. They turned around and Junpei nodded. Ace and Lotus turned around again and walked slowly to the door where Santa was waiting for them. After what seemed like an eternity, they stopped in front of the door marked number 9. Santa smiled. Alright, now let's get those hands on the scanner panel. What's the holdup? What, think I'm fucking around here? I don't give a shit about this girl. The red doesn't need a person, you know. All I need is a bracelet. You get it? Good. Now put your fucking hands on the scanner. I'm not gonna say it again. She held her revolver harder against Jun's head and she winced. Fine. He sighed, defeated, and placed his hands on the scanner panel. As one woman at gunpoint threatener to another, I really appreciate your game, Ace, is what he said to him in my abridged cut. And then Santa said to him, wow, you fucking suck, dude. Lotus went next. Lotus glared at Santa and slammed her hand onto the scanner panel. I like how Lotus is not hesitant to be angry. I appreciate that in a woman. The 4th Aster blinked on. Good job. Now Lotus, pull that lever. Now Lotus, pull that lever. Soon the door opens. You get your ass up in here. Try anything stupid and you know what happens, right? Hello, welcome to the stream. We're currently playing Zero Escape. 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. Junpei could almost hear Lo's teeth grind. The door slid open. Door number 9 opened at last. It opened with a low, powerful rumble. A drum roll to welcome the chosen few. Alright. Go! Lettuce and Ace walked through the door, their eyes fierce but defeated. Sanda waited until they were all the way inside, then hauled himself and June across the threshold as well. 6, 7, 8, 9. Later. After exactly 9 seconds, the door swung shut. The gust of air it created caused the candles on the altar to flicker and die. The room fell silent. Junpei, Clover, and Seven had been left behind. Clover looked down at her hand and traced the finger with the faint blue veins that crisscrossed them. Seven shoved his arms into front of his overalls and scratched his stomach. No one spoke. Silence made the air feel thick and oppressive. Desperate for something, anything to occupy his mind, Junpei walked to the larger of the 2 9 doors. He stood in front of it and looked at the red. It read engaged. He moved to the smaller door. The red read thank it. The digital root of the remaining people was 7. There was no possible way for them to open a door with 9 on it. Yep, not even with the 0 bracelet, by the way. That's a digital root of 4. He thought about June, about Akane Kurashiki. Was she safe? That it was all that mattered to him. If she was safe, alive, if she had escaped this horrible boat, that was what Junpei prayed for. Why is there a little black guy next to Hale? Because I like him. It's Sherma from the hit game Silk Song. He's such a little guy, chaps. He pulled off his hat, scratched his head and sighed. Sherma's a cutie. We love Sherma in this household. Yeah, and again, I don't think I'm in the skill level or like for Silk Song, and also I'm currently playing Hollow Knight. But I'm watching VTubers and Twitch streamers play it, and like I like how he just believed. I think it's she. I think I don't know what I think I actually misgendered Sherma. I'm gonna check. What is the pronouns? I see that he's a he. Sherma is a thing, no idea. Yeah. So Sherma helps Hornet, and like what he does, he's like he goes next to a mistake, he does a sing, and he believes that if he sings enough at the problem, it will go away. So like he stands next to the door, he stands next to like the bell beast, and he's just there to vibe. There's also apparently there's also an animation of him at the springs, and like because he doesn't have his instrument, he just splashes around as he sings, and it's so cute. This is how they trick people like me into playing their games. They put little guys and little cuties inside of it, and me, who has a soft spot for little guys and trinkets, I cannot resist it. And it's a bonus if they do funny noises, which is exactly what happens in this game, because they all have funny noises. So, what do you want to do, Junpei? What do you think what do you want to do? What can we do? Seven opened his mouth to respond when a noise echoed through the room. Someone was pounding on something vigorously. It wasn't mechanical, it was certainly human. Junpei and Seven looked at one another. What the hell is that?
Shh! Quiet.
Clover motioned to Seven to be quiet. She put one finger to her lips and closed her eyes in concentration. The three of them listened, trying to determine where the sound was coming from. Where was it coming from? Could it be... Hey, I think it's coming from this coffin.
You're right.
Let's open it. But how?
What are those muscles for? For show?
You're telling me to force it open? Just shut up and try. Junpei and Seven grabbed a hold of the coffin. They tried to get a good grip with that little purchase they could find, and pulled it with all their strength. I'm not doing the screaming noises. Damn it! Man, it won't even budge. There was some sort of keypad attached to the coffin. Its purpose would not have been difficult to determine. Their eyes were almost immediately drawn to it. Not another one. Yeah, looks like it.
Do you think we have to put in the right password or it won't open?
I think so. The noise wasn't stopping. In fact, it was getting louder. They had no idea who was in the coffin, but they wanted out. And they wanted out now. They had no idea what they were supposed to do. Without a passcode, it didn't seem like there was a lot they could do. They couldn't even tell how many numbers the passcode needed to be.
Isn't there a hint somewhere?
Well, let's look for one. Unfortunately, they didn't seem to find anything near the coffin. Clover ran to examine the pews, and Seven investigated the guest desk, but they turned up nothing. The sound still wouldn't stop. It wasn't a noise that belonged in that room. What was the passcode? What was Junpei supposed to do? How was he supposed to figure it out? He needed something. The world blinked. Suddenly, there was a voice inside Junpei's head.
Truth had gone, and truth had gone. Now truth is asleep in the darkness of the sinister hand.
What the hell was that? That voice. Junpei was utterly and completely baffled. Huh? What are you talking about?
What's up?
Junpei and Clover ran over to him, but Junpei didn't know what to tell them. If he told them they heard a voice, they'd laugh or worse, think he was going insane. So all he said was, "Oh, nothing." He cleared his throat a little too loud and looked pointedly down at his bracelet. There were a pair of small buttons protruding from either side of it. Junpei pressed the button and the buttons on the bracelet. Truth had gone, truth had gone, truth had gone. Right, left, right, left, right, left. Right, left, right, left, right, left. That was it. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. 8 numbers blinked on and then off in the bracelet display. Junpei checked one last time. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. Huh?
Huh?
Hey, what the hell are those numbers?
Oh my gosh, are those?
Junpei didn't answer. He simply walked straight to the coffin. He knelt down in front of the keypad, running over the numbers in his head, so that he wouldn't forget. Do you have a favorite watch in Zeroscape? I like this one. I think I like this one the most. The VLR one,
Just like I think that like the fact that it's red and not black makes like gives it a bit of a personality. And the one for Zero Time Dilemma, it looks bulky and industrial, which I like, which is also I like because it's different. But I think I like the original one the most because it has that pop of color. But what I do like is that, like, again, this is mildish spoilers to Zero Time Dilemma. The mastermind is different for that game, so it makes sense the watch is going to be different as well. The bracelet, I mean. And that's nice attention to detail. With trembling fingers, he punched them in. That was all of them. He punched the E button. Then there was the sound of a coffin lid unlatching. Someone sat up out of it. Ah! Is this you, Clover? I apologize for worrying you. Snake! Oh my, how did you... Junpei and Seven, is that you? Is everyone else in there as well? Just like Rib Van Winkle. Still, it was very much like Snake to simply cut to the heart of the matter and ask. Junpei and Seven shared a wry smile. Clover's eyes were filled with tears. You're back! With a cry of joy, she leapt into Snake's arms. Gently now. My body's still a little weak. You're back! You're back! Clover looked like nothing so much as a lost child who had finally found her home. She cried and cried and cried. Her eyes were red, her nose was running. She hiccuped and gasped as if she was about to begin hyperventilating. I mean, she thought he was dead for a few good hours. I'd probably react like that as well. You're back! You're really here! Her voice was happy, but almost desperate, as if she feared he would disappear again if she stopped talking to him. Tear after tremendous tear rolled its way down her face. Her small arms strained as she clutched Snake's body as tightly as she could. Perhaps she had to convince herself that he was real. Perhaps she was worried about what... She was worried he would be gone the moment she let go. Perhaps she simply didn't know what else to do. You're back! Come now, what's gotten into you? You're acting as though I've returned from the grave. Not as though he did! I really thought you weren't dead! You jerk! Idiot! 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 Oh god, I spilled some apple on my keyboard. Oh my goodness. Clover broke into sobs so great she could no longer talk. It was a touching reunion between brother and sister. Even though Junpei knew they had little time and every minute they waited was a minute they wasted, it felt cruel to pull them apart. Junpei and Seven sat down in one of the pews, waiting for Clover to calm down, before explaining to Snake what had transpired. I see. I believe I understand things rather well now. Thank you. In the shower room there is a dead body wearing my clothes. Because of that, you thought I was dead. Correct? He had quickly and neatly summarized the events of several hours. Junpei nodded.
You also discovered a corpse in this captain's quarters, and Santa turned on you here in this room. Turned on you here in this room. Do I have it straight? I mean, as straight as you can have a democratically elected gay man. Someone has been rather surprised to learn of the dead body in the captain's quarters. With everything that had taken place, Junpei has simply forgotten to mention it to him. Well then, I've got a pretty decent idea of what might have happened when I was indisposed, but it's still something of a mystery who did all this and why. Straight up gay. Yep, exactly! The corpse in the shower room looked like me, and the corpse in the captain's quarters. Why were they killed in the way they were? You don't know? No, why would I? A guy in the shower room. We don't know who he is, but let's just call him Mr. X. Anyway, Mr. X is wearing Snake's clothes, but you're wearing some kind of weird robes. That means someone took your clothes and put them on Mr. X. We need to figure out who that was. I apologize, but I still have no idea who might have done this to me. I only just now woke up. I was unconscious during all the events you just described to me. They must have undressed me and changed my clothes during that time.
When were you knocked out?
When we split up to look for the red. When did they get you? Do you remember? It was a small room in one of the hallways on C deck. What happened? The same thing that happened to every one of us when we were abducted. A can releasing some sort of gas was thrown in the room. I believe the gas is a sort of incapacitating agent.
And that means it was...
0. Looks that way, huh? There is nothing else I have to tell you. When I woke up, I was in this coffin. Junpei crossed his arms and thought. Why had Zero made Mr. X wear Snake's clothes? I mean, we know why, because he wanted to bamboozle Ace. How had the results of that trick benefited Zero? It was a mystery. Junpei couldn't make sense of it. He also didn't have a satisfactory explanation for how he discerned the key code for the coffin. It just didn't make sense. Truth had gone, and truth had gone. What did that mean? Did it mean anything? And why had Junpei felt compelled to push the buttons on the bracelet after hearing them? Seven had asked him about it while they waited for Clover to finish crying. He had no answer for him then, and he still didn't. All he could say was that it seems to have been a subconscious reaction. His fingers have simply moved on their own accord. It was the only explanation that made any sort of sense, and it made almost no sense. Junpei had no idea what any of it meant. His mind was a maelstrom of mysteries, clues, theories, and more mysteries he could barely think. And of course, Snake and Clover had been subject to a similar experiment 9 years ago. Kind of forgot how late the main power of the series comes into play in 999. Yeah, because the game plays itself as a normal death game, and the supernatural powers, they creep in as you ease into it. And I think that's one of the brilliant things about this game. It's a sci-fi novel in a Saw trench coat.
The first thing is epiphany and the other is danger. And someone did actually die. A girl. Her name was,
There had been another experiment conducted on the same ship 9 years ago. A girl had died during it. All of the different info dumps we've gotten, they were necessary. Morphogenetic field theory. The 2 murders. Well, I need to count the player knowing the answers for the puzzles, and thus Junpei on each run does it well, which is very cool. The narrative, gameplay, and replaying puzzles. Yeah, it is. The 2 murders. Switching clothes. The nonary game. And whatever strange thing it was happening to Junpei himself. The maelstrom in his head spat out words and ideas that disappeared back into it as soon as he grasped them. But as he struggled through them, Junpei began to realize something. There was something that tied all of them together. Zero. He was the ringleader, the person who had trapped 9 people on his sinking ship. Zero knew everything. If they could uncover Zero's identity, all their questions would be answered. Who was Zero? Junpei had the beginnings of a theory. If he could only test it. Or perhaps. At any rate, we'll have plenty of time to decipher the details later. For now, it is of utmost importance that we escape. Junpei, it was 4:30 the last time you checked the clock, yes? That means we have less than an hour. We must hurry.
Hey, how are we gonna get out of here?
Isn't it obvious? Isn't that obvious? Through the other number 9 door.
Oh yeah! Yeah, you're right! Snake, we can open the door.
Don't tell me how to figure that out.
As they sniped back and forth, Junpei glanced at Snake's left hand. He was wearing a bracelet with the 2 on it.
Come on, you gotta tell me these things.
I assumed you'd figure it out.
Ah, forget it! Let's just get going!
7 stomped towards the smaller number 9 door. Clover, Snake, and Junpei followed. 7 quickly laid his hand on the red. An asterisk appeared on the screen. Junpei and the others followed suit and laid their hands on a scanner panel. Soon there were 4 asterisks on the screen. 7 glanced at them and then laid his hand on the lever of the red.
Alright, you guys ready to go?
Yes.
Yep.
Junpei paused for a moment. Not yet.
Huh?
Before we go in, I'd like to check something.
You want to check something?
Yeah, but before I do, 7, could you pull the lever? I want to make sure we can verify with just the 4 of us.
What do you mean? We don't need... Just do it, alright?
If the door opens, don't go in yet, okay? Please, this is really important. I really need to check this, okay? Work with me here. Junpei looked directly into 7's eyes. The older man looked back at the woman and nodded.
Fine.
Seven pulled down the lever and door 9 creaked open. Then they waited. 6, 7, 8. After 9 seconds, the door closed. Alright, that means the 4 of us can go to door number 9.
So, we knew that already, isn't it? It's obvious.
Obvious. Yeah, you're right, it is. Now what happens if we add Zero's bracelet?
What?
Zero's bracelet. Why don't you take it out, Clover?
So you did know I had it. I picked it up because I thought it might be useful sometime.
She reached into one of the pockets of her voluminous jacket and produced a bracelet. Junpei took it from her and turned to 7. This was in the left hand of the corpse in the captain's quarters. If you look at it, you can see it's got a 0 on the face. Just to make it a little easier to talk about, I'm gonna call this guy we found dead in the captain's quarters Cap. If Cap was really 0, then I should be able to open door 9 with just me, Clover, and his bracelet. But more importantly, if you were Cap and this was your game, would you really put one of these bracelets on yourself? Anyway, let's just give it a shot. Clover, give me your hand.
Okay.
After he and Clover scanned their bracelets, he waved Caps over to the scanner panel. Then he pulled the lever. However, the door didn't open. The reds displayed red error. I knew it. Now, what does this tell us?
Maybe the bracelet has to be on your wrist in order for it to work?
No, that's impossible. Do you see how the panel showed a 3rd asterisk when I scanned Cap's bracelet? Whether or not it's on your wrist doesn't matter. you have to do is put the bracelet near the panel for it to register. 7 waved his bracelet in front of the scanner panel. Sure enough, there was a single asterisk appeared on the red. Huh. Looks like you're right. See? So, what does it mean? There's only one possibility. The bracelet is in number 0. Is that what you're saying? That's right.
Then what number is it?
Let's find out. Junpei scanned the bracelet with this combination. Hey! It opened. The door opened.
What? Why? What does it mean?
Both Seven and Clover seemed rather shaken as they turned to look at Junpei for answers. The door slid heavily shut. Junpei raised an eyebrow. Isn't it obvious? Cap's bracelet is number 6. But doesn't it say 0? This isn't 0. The symbol on here isn't a number 0. It's a letter O. Oh? Yep. O's digital root is 6.
Whoa, wait a minute. I don't get it. I mean, we figured out that Cap's bracelet is 6, right?
Yeah.
Does that mean there are 2 people with 6s?
Before Junpei could answer, Snake spoke up. There is only one person with a 6.
What? But I don't get it. What about June?
Well, this is only an educated guess, but I think June's number was never 6 to begin with. Her bracelet was flipped. In other words, June's real number is 9? That seems to be the most likely.
And all this number door stuff was just a load of crap?
Why would you say that?
Because if June is 9, then the numbers wouldn't match up.
And we're back to scribbling. Junpei leaned over to look at it. List of all the number doors June had gone through. Clover read each row so that Snake could follow along. To be honest, I didn't know why they threw out the 2 people with the same number, that there were 2 twos after all. I mean, that's a good question. That's a question.
Alright, I made a list of all the numbers, the number doors that June has gone through so far. I wrote down which doors she went into and with who. And I wrote what all the numbers were. So if you switch 9 and whenever there is a 6, the numbers don't work. If the digital root is 7, then you can't open door 4. If the digital root is 2, then you can't open door 8.
Clover, do you notice anything interesting in that list?
What do you mean?
You're talking about 3, right?
3?
Santa's always in the room with her. And that's what you're saying, isn't it? Yes, exactly.
What about it?
That's quite simple, really. You told me that the first time you came in this room, Santa was the first to refuse to leave June behind. Now, doesn't that beg the question why? Why would Santa do such a thing? The answer is easy. Because Santa can't open door 9 with only 7 and Lotus. Of course, there's only one reason for that. His number isn't actually 3. Santa's real number. 7 would be so kind as to modify my sister's equations. Yeah, sure. 7 took a pen from the confused Clover and began to adjust her calculations. This is what we're getting at. Right, Snake? This is what you're getting at, right, Snake? He reached out to the letters he made, and when he finished, he looked at Snake. Snake smiled. Thank you. That is exactly right, 7. Santa's true number wasn't 3. It was 0.
No way. Santa's 0?
And June was 9, not 6. On the contrary, Santa was 0, not 3. And +3 and -3. They cancel one another out. Nothing appears out of the order. And this theory has 2 people with 9s. Yeah, it does. Ooh, interesting. Interesting direction. Yeah, there are indeed 2 9s. There's June and the 9th man. That means that even though he set the whole damn thing up, Santa was still playing the rules of the nonary game this whole time. Precisely.
So you're saying Santa planned this whole thing?
I'm not sure if he acted alone or not. So the whole, Akane could have been, Akane can't have been 6, we have a 6, but it never made sense to me since they should suggest 2 9s and we know there's 2 2s. Yeah. I mean, but the plot needed to, like, lead us to the conclusion. But I think it's safe to conclude that he is 0, if my hypothesis is correct. Clover bit her lip. She seemed to be having some difficulty believing in her brother's explanation. Junpei remained silent in thought. Snake's hypothesis didn't satisfy him. June's bracelet was flipped. Even if that were possible, there would have to be 2 number 9 bracelets. Yeah, it's true. And if that were the case... Alright, that's enough talking. Let's go. It's high time we went through that door. So June could still be 6 and nothing changed. Yeah, that's true. Door number 9 opened. They leapt through. The dead was directly in front of them as they came through the door. Quickly, they scanned their bracelets. And then the detonator stopped. Good. After pausing for a moment to catch their collective breath, Junpei and his companions headed down the long hallway in front of them. At the end of the set of stairs leading down to into the ship, it looked as though it led all the way to the bottom deck. I don't know, there's always been one of the biggest flaws in writing, in my opinion, that Snake has for no reason, just rules out 2 people having 6s and like why. Yeah, that's fair. I think that Uchikoshi does love his plot contrivances. And, like, this is an issue in, like, a lot of his games. Like, sometimes he bends the characters under the conclusions they need to go into. You get what I'm saying? After deciding it was safe, they headed down the stairs. Before long, Junpei and his companions found themselves on the bottom deck. They turned left into another hallway, at the end of which they found another door. And of course, there was a symbol engraved into the keyhole. It looked as though, like some sort of harpoon one would use to hunt fish, the kind with 3 prongs. They traced the shape with his fingers. This is the Neptune symbol. There must be a key around here somewhere. Neptune key. All Junpei had was the Uranus key card. Not the same planet, and not even the same sort of key. Clearly, it wasn't going to be to open this door. After examining the door for a few more minutes, they gave up and headed back the way they came. With a little more searching, we found a metal door. To the side of it was a card reader. The symbol was engraved into... Huh? Yeah, I just had someone jump in to say hello. It matched the Uranus symbol on the keycard Junpei was carrying. This is the place. He muttered to himself and slid the card through the reader. I think we're gonna do one more escape room and then finish for today. It beeped once and a light on it turned green. With a heavy metal groan, the door creaked open. Junpei, Clover, and Snake had sat and looked at one another, nodded, and stepped through. The room they found themselves was full of books. It looked remarkably like a library. Not the sort of library where large numbers of people came to read books. More like the sort of library that was simply a place to store books. He felt a little overwhelmed by the sheer number of books, but Junpei did his best to speak with authority. Alright, if we want to get through that door, we need the Neptune key. I say we split up and look for it.
Okay.
Very well. Sure thing. Good, let's get started then. We don't have a lot of time. Hurry! Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the source of knowledge. As he began his search for reasons he didn't fully understand, Junpei felt those particular words float through his mind. Now we're going to one of my favorite tracks in the game. There's a note on the table.
Lights to the books? Huh, what does it mean?
Interesting. Intelligence often hides itself in darkness. Have you ever thought about the pages of a book? Each page only sees, maybe 2 or 3 minutes of light before the reader is on to the next? They spend the rest of their lives locked in darkness. They're like myself.
That's horrible.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining, not at all. I live in the darkness, yes. He's such a poet. But God has gifted me with the ability to catch the truths others might miss. I can hear the voices in the darkness, you might say. What's the deal with these titles? They're all just gibberish.
Hey, what if we, switch them around?
Switch them around.
Yeah. If we move them around, maybe they'll spell something.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. Heck, it's worth a shot. Easy. Look, open here, find bulb. How about this? Looks like putting those books in the right order opened things right up. That was a piece of cake.
Hooray! You did it, Junpei.
I guess that turned out well enough.
So the letters from the title spent left. Open here, find bulb.
And we found a bulb.
The light bulb looks like it's brand new. And it's really big, so it'll make a lot of light.
What's a picture book look like that? What's a picture book like that doing here? It looks like it's about Little League.
It does seem a little weird, but it's so different from the others, huh? Maybe you gotta take it with you.
It's a book about baseball.
There is a baseball in this one. Come on, Junpei, let's see what's in it.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's probably baseball stuff. Whoa! It's a pop-up book. Oh shit, that's funny.
It's one of those pop-up books, isn't it? It says head.
Good, like where my brain is. I mean, do you have a brain, Junpei? You're a Bitcoin major. I don't think these guys have much of a brain.
Oh, look, Seven, here's a book that's perfect for you. It's called Correlation of Muscle, Bone Density, and Bone Strength.
Just saying that because it says muscle. Human equilibrium theory. Human anatomy.
Regeneration of internal organs.
This book is just called a section. Must be all about medical books. From what I tell, it sounds as though these books have been reorganized by genre. Its library must be massive, and rather impressed by how well organized it is. Principles of monkey behavior, huh? I demand just books describing praxeology studies of monkeys. Monkeys are very similar to humans evolutionarily, so I imagine the research was fruitful. Monkey. You know, I just remembered that one monkey boss fight from Zero Escape. Like from Honkai Star Rail. There aren't any other books that look suspicious. Oh, we already looked this place. What about here? Hey, it's another one of those kids' picture books. It looks a lot like the other one we found. This one is about cowboys and Indians. This one has some Native Americans on the cover. Hey, Junpei, take a look at this one. Native Americans, huh? Maybe it's got some... Whoa! Okay, we don't know what it says here. It's... We probably need we need to find the rest of them. Automated robotic assembly line techniques, huh?
What's that? Some sort of comic book? Jeez, I guess boys really like that stuff, huh?
No, you're thinking of a different sort of robot. This book is talking about the automated machinery that's used to build things like cars. A review of photochemistry.
I think whoever set it up wanted us to see the cover, not the spine. Let's look at it, okay?
Looks like there's a whole lot of space behind these books.
Look, Junpei! I think there's something hidden behind the books.
We found a bulb! Nice! The book is called Communication and Computer Science, huh? That's a pretty generic title. To be honest, it's so vague I don't really know what it might be about. What's that one called? It says Foundations of DNA and Genetic Engineering. Guess we need to continue looking. There aren't any other books that look suspicious. Okay, so we cleared that one. This one says Transition of Extinct Species. We need to hurry it up or we're going to end up in the pages of a book like that. Mother Nature. Is that some sort of book about hippie chicks? Probably not, except perhaps tangentially. It's most likely about environmental protection. I was just trying to make a joke. Man, he's such an old man. Dude, hippie chicks. Really? Micrographia, huh? Ah, yes, Robert Hooke's famous work. First published in 1665. He used a microscope and examined insects, and organic substances and other things too. That drew pictures of many of the things he's examined and published them in the book. And how does it guess the shelf is concerned with natural sciences? Why did mankind lose their tails? Do you know this? Do you know what this one's about? Why are you asking me? I didn't even know we had tails to lose. Maybe we should ask the human with the tail. Goku? Yeah. Mankind's ancestors most likely lost their tail, dude. No longer useful and nutrients required to grow them or better put to use elsewhere. At least that's what I read. I was rather young, so I may have remembered it incorrectly. Huh? What the hell would a kid be reading a book like that? The Theory of Evolution, heck. Even I know this one. This is a Darwin guy, right? Well, yes and no. Charles Darwin wrote a book called On the Origins of the Species. You know, he put forth on evolution. Yeah, I remember that part. He called natural selection. Exactly. Theories of a Cambrian explosion. Did a bomb go off near somewhere called Cambria? Wrong kind of explosion. Roughly 500 million years ago during what is known as the Cambrian period. Researchers did a variety of living organisms increased by an order of magnitude. What that happened is, however, there are still a number of theories. This book is most likely a collection of them. Pictures of the South Seas, huh? I wonder if this one's got picture of colorful fish and stuff. I think we looked at all the shelves.
Paleontology. This one's about fossils, right? Ammonites are pretty nasty looking.
Introduction to geology, huh? Thinking about the Earth when you're on the ocean. Kind of romantic in a way, I guess. Okay, so no dice in this one. Look, this one's called Recreation of Lost Human Functions. I think we're talking about if you, like, lose part of your body, you could grow it back. I don't think so. Maybe they're talking about reconstructing abilities that humankind once possessed. In other words, they may be talking about cultivating a sixth sense. Teleportation and telepathy. What the hell is this one about? Well, I know what telepathy is, but I've never heard teleportation. Who's having the ability to travel through time? This book is called Mind Swap?
You mean you can, like, change bodies with someone? Well, I guess you wouldn't mind switching bodies with my brother or Junpei that too much, but I'd rather die than let someone switch with me.
What the hell? Like, I never would have swapped bodies with a little brat like...
Hey, you were just imagining it. You were.
Shut up. It is interesting to see what these guys are talking about, Ooh, look, books. That kind. What the hell is this? Wasn't it that a German mathematician? Maybe it's a compilation of his work. Owen, huh? Owen is enough to go on. Perhaps it's some kind of English revolutionary.
Sheldrake.
Sheldrake. Isn't Sheldrake...
That's a weird book, Junpei. Indian mathematics. Haha, that's funny.
Why is that funny?
It says Riemann hypothesis. What's there to hypothesis about with Riemann? Isn't it pretty straightforward?
I don't know, there's so many factors. Length, girth, lubrication, or lack of... It's an exciting, rapidly growing field. Is Riemann... Wait, hold on. No way. What kind of Riemann are we talking about? Yeah, I was thinking it's the... Is this like a thing in Urban Dictionary? Oh, I see. Oh my god. I don't know.
Whoa.
Wow, that was the gayest line that came out of this man.
Hey, Jinbei, think maybe you're supposed to put those pop-up books on the stands? Then you can open it up.
Oh yeah, if we do that, then I'll make a shadow in the bottom there. True, but there are 3 stands, right? We don't have enough picture books. In other words, we need 3 picture books.
Oh my gosh, how did he know? Nobody said anything about those.
Number theory is usually split into 4 chief disciplines. If there was a book named Algebraic Number Theory, then... Sorry, there's just a lot to read here.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Hey, what's the deal with this sappy stuff? Huh? Modern Japanese literature, huh? What's this? Origin of Japanese folklore? This is a bunch of books about Japanese culture here. Mostly ones about folklore, though. Folklore can cover a wide range of subjects. History, urban life, trends, religious trends, or... And there are little pictures books here. Something about these things feels kind of nice, you know? Brings back good memories.
I guess even feel like some were kids once.
No shit, you little brat. Hey guys, cool it. Alright, I think I'm gonna take the picture book with me. This is about a magic wand. Okay. So, what's inside? Wait, aren't you going to open it? Pretty sure I'm gonna have pages inside. Whoa! Small enclosure with 9 sided. Oh, it looks like we need more lamps.
A little weird.
Three lights in this thing. They aren't very bright though. Hey, didn't we find some kind of really powerful light bulb barrier? We need to find the 3rd one. We have 2 of them. Which have has some sort of glass inlay. It's pretty big, but there's only 6 books in it. Seems kind of weird.
Hey, it looks like there's something on the bottom. Can't really see it though, the glass is all foggy.
Oof, password. Maybe we'll find it upstairs? Okay. Property values going up in space. He's just info dumping. Let's snake info dump.
Maybe it's just bad.
Okay. Nothing to do with perms. Oh, never change 7. I think the challenge in here is to find the 4th light bulb. Where is it? This is genuine like finding a needle in the haystack. Where's the damn 4th Chaos Emerald? Exactly! Oh, I think I already explored this one. One book says dad kind on it. Oh, I was already here, never mind. In the middle of the glass door is a cylinder lock. You know, the kind of lock where you rotate the numbers until you've got the right ones to open it. What the hell is this? It's like they just gave us the answer. Guess I might as well give it a shot. Ah. Oh, cheeky gate. This game is cheeky. You did it, Junpei! Yay! I don't know why, but I don't really feel particularly happy about being praised for that. Whatever. At least the lock's open for now. Let's see if we can get it open, alright? And we have the 4th one. All 6 books seem to be pointing at a cylinder number lock. Yep, we solved it. It was pretty cheeky. Alright, so there are 3 light bulbs in here. I'm gonna change these bulbs. Now they should. Sheldrake 5. Awesome! It worked! Way to go, Junpei. Gamercore, we found the damn 4th Chaos Emerald.
There's something projecting on the bottom.
These letters, they seem familiar. Oh, now we know which book to grab. Sheldrake in the spine of this book. Got the volume number written on the lower part of the spine. Dude, it's Sheldrake 5!
Maybe I need to click on it? Ah, the info dump. Sheldrick 5. Sheldrick. Junpei read the text out loud. I think I saw the rest of the collection somewhere.
Yeah, I think it was somewhere around here.
Let's go take a look.
Okay.
Someone walked off, leaving Junpei and Snake behind. Have you heard of him? Sheldrake, I mean. Junpei grinned. Yeah, Lotus told me about him. There's a British biochemist named Sheldrake. He has a rather interesting theory. The theory of morphogenetic fields, which relies on the theory of morphic resonance. Really? From Lotus, huh? Well, Clover also said something to me about that stuff. She did. Well, what was it?
The ability to access morphogenetic field is affected by a couple of things. The first is epiphany, and the other is danger.
Ah, that girl. I told her not to tell anyone. You did? Why? Junpei's eyes narrowed. Look, man, I didn't push it because we're in a hurry, but I'm kind of sick of this. How about you just tell me, okay? Tell you what? Don't give me that. About the experiment. Snake's shoulders slumped as he shook his head slowly. He finally given up. Very well, fine. I'll tell you everything, but not here. Let's move to the top floor. Junpei nodded. With that, they climbed the stairs to the top floor. Snake was silent for a moment after they arrived, and he finally crossed his arms and spoke. I assume I might as well start by telling you why I kept quiet and why I made sure Clover did as well. To be honest, the explanation is quite simple. Zero told me not to. I had a little choice. He didn't walk up and tell me, of course. He gave me a message engraved on card. Snake reached into his sleeve and pulled out a small, stiff piece of paper. It looked like a good deal like the one he'd shown everyone to Central Staircase. So he had two cards. No, only one. What do you mean? I thought that card just had some rules for notary game on it. Yes, it did. Those were the rules I read to you. However, I'm trying not to give him a British accent, but more like a posh accent. They were not the only thing on the card. There was something I didn't read. Well, perhaps I should say there was something I couldn't read. And that was... Tell no one of the events that took place 9 years ago. Tell and I activate your sister's detonator. Oh, well, Snake nodded. What about Clover? Did she get a message from Zero too? I don't believe she did. But doesn't it strike you strange that Zero would shut my mouth but not hers? Yeah, that does seem a little weird. Yeah, Zero and Ace, everyone is just nerfing this man. This man can fight God and come out victorious. To be on the safe side, however, I told her it was the best not to tell anyone. Still, apparently she told you. That girl. What's wrong with her telling me? I figured some stuff out with the things she told me. Well, it looks like the whole activator detonator thing was just a bluff. She's prancing around downstairs, happy as a clam down to your back. Snake glanced down to Clover and Seven, examining one of the bookshelves. That's very true. Well, it's only implied he was the Junpei leader of the first game. Yeah, that makes sense. I have decided to tell you the truth. The chance that Santa Zero is very high. I feel I can assume Santa doesn't have the time to observe us at the moment. And at any rate, if he was here, I very much doubt he could kill us. Why not? Clover told me about the four-leaf clover, about the words. If he knew about that, then he was in my group during the first experiment. I'm sure of it. He wouldn't kill us, no matter what the situation was. Snake paused and cocked his head, as well as he was listening to something very far away.
I don't know if you watch Simpsons, but I kind of imagine Snake with a Sideshow Bob sounding voice. Very sounding, but not really British. Yeah, that's fair. His face looked dark, as though something was weighing on him. I don't remember Sideshow Bob, but I have seen a bit of Simpsons here and there. Hey, Snake? Junpei wasn't quite sure what to say. Junpei isn't very sure of a lot of things. I don't know if you guys noticed. Snake turned and looked at him. Yes, I know. You want to know what happened during the experiment? Yeah. How much do you know? Junpei relayed to Snake everything Clover had told him. The morphogenetic field in the experiments 9 years prior that had dealt with it. How the experiment has taken place simultaneously at 2 locations, one being the ship and the other being a building in Nevada. How they played an nonary game. He told him everything. And finally told him how the girl had died during the experiment. Now I imagine Snake blind stepping on a rake and grumbling. Oh, she told you all that, did she? We didn't see this sprite looking dejected yet. Snake looked down, his face was tight. Hmm? Snake looked down, his face was tight. A slight tremor shook his body and he tried to hide it. He was putting on a good front, but even Junpei could tell he was holding back something deep and powerful. He made as if to brush something from his face and looked up at Junpei. At any rate, I now know how much you've learned. All that remains for us is to determine is who did this and why, right? Yes. Can you tell me what happened? Snake nodded slowly. The people who organized the initial experiment were from a company called Cradle Pharmaceutical. There were 4 of them running the show. Gentaro Hongo, Nagisa Nijisaki, Hiroaki Kubota, Kagechika Musashiro. Hongo was the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceutical. Nijisaki was his right-hand man and did the lion's share of the planning. Kubota led the company's research and development division. Musashiro was the majority stockholder. It was these 4 people who planned the initial experiment. You know, it's really... I was about to say something, but never mind, spoilers. Let me simplify it for you. Hongo designed it and Nijisaki put it all together. Kubota delivered the project required and Musashiro provided the cash. So it's Hongo, Nijisaki, Kubota, and Musashiro, and as you guys see, Kubota is the 9th man. Junpei couldn't shake the sense that he heard those 4 names before. Of course, more than 4 people were required to conduct an experiment of this scale. To that end, they organized a top-secret team to assist them with their research. All in all, they gathered 10 people or so. Those 10 completed their team, and they were able to begin the project. They named it the Nonary Project. The purpose of the experiment was to research the prospect of controlling a human mind through sheer will. The vessel, I suppose you could say, for this control was the morphogenetic field. Why did the glycerin suddenly begin to crystallize? Why did the crystal structure of EDT undergo such a sudden change? Why did the rats improve their puzzle-solving skills with each generation? Experiments with humans produced the same results. The more people who knew the answer to a question, the more people there were who could answer correctly without having seen the problem before. Why? How? The answer is that the shape of the answer has been stored in the field invisible to the naked eye. And through that
field, the resonant event transmits information related to that answer. That's essentially the idea behind morphogenetic fields. But that's just a theory. Can't bring yourself to believe it? Not really. Let's say someone killed another person because the devil told them to do it. Whether the devil exists or not has no relevance to the murder. They believe the devil exists, whether or not he is immaterial. So what matters is that Hongo believes the morphogenetic field. Snake nodded. I still don't get it. You said they want to figure out how to control people, right? That is what you're saying. Yes. So how are they going to do that with the morphogenetic field? I'll keep it simple. Let's suppose 10,000 people had solved a certain problem. The chances of you knowing the answer, even if no one has told you, will go up. Let's have another example, shall we? I say 1 million people were to handstand right now. Tomorrow the chances of you doing a handstand would be higher, even if you had heard nothing of the hypothetical mass handstanding. Mankind's thought process and actions are all parts of a resonant event. I was about to correct and say canon event, thanks Spider-Verse. All of the resonant events encoded in the fields are projected onto you. Of course, it assumes that you believe this theory. Do you follow so far? Yeah. But let's say, hypothetically, that there were a person who had the same effect as those millions of people. But what would happen? If that one person were to do a handstand, other people would find themselves wanting to do handstands as well. Can you imagine what a person with powers like that would be able to do? Come on, there is no way. I'm not done. Imagine another scenario. Imagine another person. This is an ordinary person. Let's say he does a handstand. But what if there was someone who could grab the resonant event he created by doing that and use it to make other people do handstands? What would happen then? A person who has the power to write to the field, and someone who can read it from the same. You could think of them as the writer and the reader, or the transmitter and the receiver. What would the world be like if there were people with abilities like these? So the transmitter's resonant event can be transmitted through the field and sent to the receiver. And then the transmitter can control the receiver however they wish. That's what you're saying, right? Yes, close enough at least. Aw, that's just crazy. Well, if you want to prove that, then you'll have to test it first. At least, that was how they thought. That was why they decided to do their experiment. That was how the nonary project began. Snake suddenly looked very serious. Junpei, have you ever heard of the Gansfield experiment? Junpei nodded. Yeah, that was the experiment with telepathy, right? They put a pair of child subjects in separate rooms. Then they'd show one of them a picture and ask the other one what they saw. Interesting, I'm impressed. Yeah, it's because Lotus told me about it in the beginning of this route. Yes, that is exactly correct. So why did you bring up the Gansfield experiment? It was used to screen subjects for the nonary project. The hospital in a remote town was affiliated with Cradle Pharmaceutical. Hongo used it to conduct experiments on visiting children in secret. Some of them he found had potential. He began to gather children and showed the promise. Children that seemed as though they might be able to access the field. Of course, none of them volunteered. They were kidnapped. His face fairly moved as he spoke. There were 9 pairs of siblings taken, for 18 children total. For reasons that were not fully understood at the time, each pair had 1 transmitter and 1 receiver. They split perfectly. As such, the 18 children were split into 2 groups of 9. The children who were in Group Q were the ones who excelled at transmitting. They were transferred to the mock experiment building known as Building Q in the Nevada desert. The children who excelled at receiving were put in Group A. The members of Group A were placed in the former hospital ship Gigantic. From the experiments he had conducted so far, Hongo has learned the following. There are two things that can increase one's resonance in the fields. The first is epiphany, the other is danger. Have you been ever faced with an especially difficult problem and thought about it for a very long time until finally an answer suddenly appeared in your mind? It may seem obvious to say so, but that is what they meant by epiphany. The information obtained through that epiphany can easily be transmitted through the fields, and where it can easily be interpreted. Adding danger to the equation allows even easier field access. Therefore, Hongo set up a number of puzzles across the Gigantic. The participants had to solve each puzzle before they could move to the next room. Of course, he hadn't forgotten to include the danger. More specifically, he had detonated a bomb in the hull of the Gigantic. The room in Group A were forced to play the nonary game as the ship sunk. By forcing the children into a life-or-death situation, Hongo hoped to increase the likelihood of their tapping into their fields. The children from Group Q, on the other hand, were confined to the mock experiment Building Q. Building Q duplicated the interior of the puzzles of the Gigantic exactly. I still don't know why they didn't just have two buildings instead of buying a real ship, lol. Because it adds to the stake, okay? And because rich people are irrational. Hongo explained the situation to the children in Group Q. Solve the puzzles you find throughout the rooms. When you solve them, transmit this information to the children in Group E. Because it's fun to blow things up. I mean, but they could also blow buildings. Well, didn't the one group need the threat of death to awaken their powers? Same reason the bombs exist in the game. Yeah, that's true. If you succeed, you will be able to solve the puzzles and escape. But if you fail, then the Gigantic will sink and your brothers and sisters will drown. Do you know why the astronauts of Apollo 13 were able to return to Earth safely? It was because NASA had access to the replica of Apollo 13 capsule. All of the equipment, the instructions, everything, all of it identical. NASA was able to replicate the situation the astronauts were facing by putting themselves in the same situation. Once they had found solutions, they reported their findings to the men aboard the actual capsule. And that was how they were able to return safely. It was the same with the Gigantic in Building Q. The children from Group Q had to use the power of epiphany to solve the puzzles they found and transmit what they learned through the fields. The children in Group A, however, had to access the fields to learn how they might advance to the next stage. That is the simplest explanation I can manage. Snake sounded defeated. His half-hearted attempt at derision served only to show how much this story has affected him. Just as Junpei was about to speak. Hey! Junpei! Snake! How much longer are you two gonna sit around those bony asses? Get down here already! Seven's voice echoed out from below. Snake took a deep breath. and blinked rapidly, as if just waking up from a long nap. He's right. Let's go, shall we? We don't have much time. We need to get out of here, and soon. Snake headed to the top of the stairs, but Junpei put an arm to stop him. Hold it. There's one thing I want to ask you. Are you sure that there were 18 kids? Why? Well, I thought it was only 16. Oh, yes, that was what they said on the news, wasn't it? Yes, I have no doubt that 18 children were abducted and used in Hongo's experiment. After all, you couldn't exactly play an honorary game with any less, could you? Well, yeah, but are you saying the news got it wrong? Yes, I am. There are 2 more children. However, they had no relatives that I'm aware of. I imagine no one filed a police report when they went missing. Yeah, Game Report talked about it about a few streams ago. They were a brother and sister, like Clover and I. And the brother's name was Aoi, and the sister's name was... her name was... Snake couldn't bring himself to continue. It looked as if he was about to say some in great pain. Her name was Akane. That was the girl who died. Junpei has felt as if he had been punched in the stomach. His vision went blurry and his head felt light. He couldn't think straight. Everything was blank. Had Akane Kurashiki died 9 years ago? If she had, then who was June? No, that's impossible. It couldn't be true. Akane was an uncommon name. If Snake has known her last name, then that would have been different. A different matter entirely. So, they shared a name, but there were many other people who did as well. It meant nothing. If it was a different person, of course it was a different person. It had to be. Junpei shook his head hard and pulled himself back to reality. Is something wrong, Junpei? Your breathing sounds strange. And Snake had noticed. Junpei cleared his throat and tried to act calm. Oh no, it's nothing. I'm fine. Let's get back down here, alright? Snake raised an eyebrow and said nothing, then headed down the stairs, Junpei bringing up the rear. He couldn't bring himself to ask. He told himself he knew the answer already, but he couldn't bring himself to ask what the girl's last name had been. With every step he took, the cold, hard sound of feet against the metal dug at his heart. Okay, it seems like we found something. Sheldrake, this is it. That's the shadow picture was pointing to.
But it didn't say 5 at the end of the shadow picture.
Yeah, I think we need to find a 5th volume. Well, would you look at that? There's a big red button behind this book. I guess we should press the button. Whack.
What was that sound?
Sounded like something really big and was moving.
It came from the top floor.
Alright, let's go check it out. Let's go upstairs. This is a Bond villain,
Well, I bet you gotta type something in that keyboard.
Yeah, but you can only enter letters.
And it looks like you can only enter 4 letters.
Let's see how it works. I guess you need to hit enter once you type the letters. When you erase, what do you type with clear? Okay, I get the basics of the operation. Let's give it a shot. So we have 13, 14, 10, and 13. In this case, 13 is D. Hexadecimals, baby! Yay! You did it, Junpei! It's unlocked now! Good job, Junpei. Whoa there, don't get too excited. The password was dead, remember? Just makes me want to think whatever's waiting for us isn't good.
So what?
Jeez, you're such an old lady. You can't be worrying about stuff like that. I mean, come on. We got it to unlock, didn't we? Let's go. Hurry up. Okay, what exactly unlocked? I guess it's the door. All right, Handle. It's time we got this over with. Ugh. Damn it! Can't get it to open. It won't even budge. What? Why not? We put in the password. What else do we have to do?
And if that means...
It's the other door. This door? All right, let's get out of this. Let's get this thing open. And I think this is a good place to wrap up the stream. The door opened, and we're gonna be finishing for tonight. So yeah, tune in on Saturday because we will be finishing this game. The plan of 9 streams is indeed coming to fruition. So yeah, thank you so much for attending the stream, and I will see you in the next one. Until next time, stay frosty.